Welcome to the Philthy Dad Pod, a place where three washed-up dads talk sports to the masses in between wiping asses. And we are your hosts, Ryan, Derrick, and Tom, and we want to thank you all for joining us tonight. And I am excited for the opportunity to host another great show with my brothers as we close out Week 10 in the NFL and we look into Week 11. Tonight, we got some game breakdowns, some interesting quarterback comparisons, a little division versus division debate, our weekly power rankings, fantasy and betting look-aheads, plus back by popular demand. And by popular demand, I mean my boy cashed you out last week, the Tom Flynn lock of the week. But before we get into all of that, we got to take care of some business. D, who's our sponsor this week?
Our sponsor this week is at Penny K Hair __. Ladies, want to get slayed and laid this holiday season? Look no further than our girl Penny to get you right. Get with her at Penny K Hair __ for all your beautifying needs.
I'm almost ready to go there for some of my Tom. You need any hair stuff done, bro? I think I could get you. I might be able to get you a free coupon.
So just real quick before we jump into sports. Before we jump into sports, because we all love sports, that's what we're here for. I just got to share a dad moment because, you know, we are fathers, we are dads. So my son, he tried out for travel basketball team. And, you know, kids, they can be sometimes a bit much on the attitude side, you know, stuff like that. But just it's the smallest moments that just make you cherish being a parent. So I sent him a picture because I wanted to get him some new ball sneaks. So I sent him a pair of the Giannis Freaks, and I sent him some LeBrons. So I said, which ones do you like? I didn't tell him I was going to get them for him, but I just said, which ones do you like? He said, Dad, I like the LeBrons. Why? Are you going to get them for me? All excited. I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to get them for you, son. And he did just the text, because we were texting back and forth. Oh, my gosh, Dad, thank you so much. Like, you don't understand. Like, they look so cool. Like, it was just real cool to, you know, see that. And that just makes it worth it being a you know, a father, a parent. For all you parents out there, I know you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
sure,
absolutely. I love hearing them stories, bro. One, because I'm a dad and I can relate. Two, because that's my nephew you're talking about, and you get to hear some stories about my guy. We got somebody in the comments. Jeff in the comments, the Cowboy fan, old Jeff Alsvig. What's up, bro? He said, evening, fellas. That is my guy. I'm envious of Jeff. Jeff has my dream job, and I'm not saying because he works with pussy. He does work with big cats, though. He works with rescue cats. I'm talking fucking anything you could think of. Cheetahs, lion. Like, I'm fucking envious of this dude, bro. He's got my dream job working with some wild animals. If I could, I'd work with like elephants and fucking tigers and shit. I don't know. Probably get mauled because I get too close and comfortable. But so real quick, D, you missed the last episode and I didn't do it the last, I think 2 episodes, but I'm going to bring it back because Tom's pretty good. You're pretty good. And I'm going to ask a question to both of you. It's a little trivia question. Now, this dude came to Philly, very short. He did some shirtless sit-ups in his driveway over in Jersey. Terrell Owens. There were a lot of receivers taken ahead of Terrell Owens in the 1996 draft. Do you know how many? And can you name me one of them?
I want to say 4.
Okay, Tom.
Don't know any names.
I'm going to say 7.
7. Tom, if you add the 2 of your answers together, you get the correct answer. 11
Holy
receivers.
Shit.
I'll give you some. Keyshawn Johnson, Marvin Harrison.
Okay.
Amani Toomer, Mushim Muhammad. It's a couple guys that beat up on the Eagles. And then you got guys like Eric Moulds, you know, Eric Moulds from Buffalo. He was my Madden guy for years when I played with Buffalo back when they had, I forget who they had a quarterback. I just always remember Eric Moulds and Lee Evans. They might have, but them and fucking Lee Evans, bro. And I think Lee Evans was on their teams. Fucking Lee Evans, baby. Just a little Lee Evans plug to start this shit off. All right. So What's up, Brent? Brent out of Chicago. Oh, we got a lot to talk about your team, Brent. You're everybody thinks that your quarterback is the future MVP and he's the second coming of Jesus, like I said, but we'll get to that. So the first thing we're gonna jump into is something that I've been looking at all week. I kind of been thinking about all week. And it's because I fell victim to it. And I promise I will not easily fall victim to this again. We got the debate between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, right? And Mahomes is the dude. They both started in the same year. They both 2018 is the year that they both became the starting quarterbacks for their team. Josh was a rookie, Pat is a second-year player. And they're both great quarterbacks. Any team would be lucky to have them. Just 3 weeks ago, Josh Allen was floating above earth. Everybody was a Josh Allen fan. He was the greatest thing since sliced bread. The dude could do no wrong, right? Yep. And it seemed like he was starting to get some love this season, at least over Mahomes. Like when people were talking about the best quarterback in the league, MVP, all this, it was Josh Allen. And now with a couple of bad weeks and some really the injury, but he even looked okay throughout the injury. But after a couple of bad weeks, it kind of looks like he's leading the league in interceptions. He's causing his team to lose games in crucial moments. And it kind of, it feels like he crashed back to earth. I mean, he's still above earth floating because he's still a really good fucking player. But and he can be argued as one of the best quarterbacks, but I don't know if he's the best because Mahomes has been that dude since he walked in the league in 2018 and set the league on fire with 50 touchdowns. Won a Super Bowl, has been back to a couple, and he, Mahomes is just that dude. In this whole battle since 2018 between the two, Mahomes has 2 more games than Josh Allen, right? Patrick Mahomes has a 54-14 record, while Josh Allen has a 43-22 record. Mahomes has 4,624 more passing yards than Josh Allen in just 2 games. He has 49 more passing touchdowns and 11 less interceptions. So if you take just those 2 games that Mahomes has more than Josh Allen in his career, that's a fucking MVP season. You're talking almost 5,000 yards, 49 touchdowns. That's an MVP season. At least this year it's going to be an MVP season. It's one touchdown short of what he did in 2018 when he won the MVP. Now, Josh does a lot more on the ground, 35 more rushing touchdowns, and that can't be ignored. And he has almost 1,300 more rushing yards. They're both great quarterbacks. Head-to-head, Mahomes is up 3-2. And when it comes down to playoffs, when it really matters, we just seen what happened last year in the AFC in the divisional round. I think that was the divisional round. And so he got the head in playoffs too. Plus, Mahomes has an 8-3 record in the playoffs versus Josh Allen at 3-3. So I'm giving my nod as the best quarterback in the league to the dude that's been doing it for 5 years, Pat Mahomes. That's just my vote. Who do we got? Who got? Who do you guys got?
Yeah. I mean, there's no question about it. It's Patrick Mahomes. And what's crazy to me was when I used to watch. I used to watch a ton of college, and I used to watch Patty Mahomes a lot. And I used to always see he had this like uncoordinated play, like type of play. Like he was never like a coordinated, stay in the pocket. Like the way he played was just very like unorthodox. Mm-hmm. It was very unorthodox. But he could sling the rock. Like, I remember one time, I think he threw like a 75-yard touchdown on like a last-minute drive type thing. And I was like, all right, like, is this guy like the real deal? Or is he just like out there playing schoolyard football? Like, because you don't think that schoolyard football can translate to the NFL. But he's making it, like, some of the plays he makes is ridiculous. But, I'm going to put respect on Mahomes' name. But we got to put respect on Big Red. And I'm talking about Andy Reid. Because if you go back, Alex Smith was doing work with the Chiefs. If you don't remember that season, he was taking them to the playoffs. He was doing his thing. And still, Andy Reid drafted Patrick Mahomes in the first round.
He did?
He did.
So he's seen something that not a lot of people seen, and he got a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my thing is to piggyback off of Derrick with college, not many fucking what am I trying to say here? So he come Texas Tech. He came from Texas Tech, like I said. He comes out of the Big 12 conference, and everybody knows Big 12 conference doesn't play defense. I mean, there's only one conference that plays defense. It's the SEC and a couple teams in the ACC. That's it. I mean, guys like Texas Tech, Oklahoma, Okie State, all them guys. None of them play defense. So watching Mahomes go from going from college where defense doesn't exist to coming to the NFL and not knowing how to read a defense, to learning how to read a defense, and to be effective as he is and already winning a Super Bowl. I mean, he's the clear-cut best quarterback in the NFL.
And not to discount Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen is a great quarterback, but just Patrick Mahomes is he's elite. Like I would just put like Patrick Mahomes at the top of everybody, and then start another tier. Like that's how elite he is.
I agree, and yeah, we're not trying to throw no slander on Josh Allen. I think he's a great quarterback. In fact, I think with the exception of Jalen Hurts, he's probably my favorite quarterback in the league besides Jalen, and he's my Madden quarterback. Tua
might be right there though.
See, I'm not a Tua guy. I love what Tua's doing. I love what he's doing. But you give me one or the other, I'm gonna go. Now this year, Tua, I can't say too much bad about Tua. He's doing what nobody expected him to do. He's got a great receiving core around him, but he plays a big part in making that thing go. It's not just because he's got speed. We've seen teams with speed before that just can't do nothing with it. So Tua's coming into his own, and I definitely respect what he's doing.
And that's another thing I just want to touch on. Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to be honest. Tom knows that I'm kind of a Debbie Downer guy when it comes to quarterbacks, i.e. Tom Brady. I always say he's going to decline. I thought Patrick Mahomes would regress. I seriously thought that losing Tyreek Hill, one of probably the fastest running, wide receiver in the league, I thought he was definitely going to regress. But he's doing it. Juju's not having a crazy season. He just got, Kadarius, who it'll help him out. But, Mecole Hardman, he's been banged up this season. And he's still throwing 350, 400 yards a game. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mentioned last week, I think the Juju signing is very underrated because they for so long they've been that team that's got they got Travis Kelce across the middle that could beat anybody up for real. But then on the outside they had speed. They had Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, and they've always kind of brought in that bigger body receiver to try to give a little bit of size. They brought in Sammy Watkins. Who else? There was another guy that I had pinned, but I forgot his name. But what I'm trying to get at is they added him. He's a bigger body. He's not afraid to go across the middle. He can handle going across the middle. He's not fragile. He's a big dude, and he eats across the middle with them. He's given them that second option. Before it was, all right, guard the fast stuff, guard the outsides. Don't let these little dudes beat us. And then the inside, we got to contain just Kelce, right? Where now it's no. You can't just contain Kelce on the inside because here comes Juju across your face. And now you got a broken zone, and there goes Juju up the side for 20, 30 yards. And they add up. Right. And then when you get that, then the defense is going to cheat and start looking at Juju. And then that's when that beast Travis Kelce eats. And then when you look at both of them, that's when the dudes underneath and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, McKinnon, and Pacheco, that's where that offense is so, bro, they're dangerous. I've said it before. I don't want them to get Odell. That's something that you guys have been talking back and forth about this week is where Odell's going to go. And Tom had called it from the beginning. I can't take that away from him. He said before it was linked, I think that the Chiefs were even involved. He had said that he thought Odell was going to go to the Chiefs. And I don't know. You obviously make room for Odell, but that would be a little wild.
Odell instantly becomes the number one receiver, I would assume. I don't know how is Juju out. Is Juju out this week?
I don't think so. I'll check it.
He got lit up last week and he was knocked out cold on the field, wasn't he?
Yeah, he hasn't practiced.
Depending on what Odell shows up, we don't know what he can do after his injury. But all right. Other than Travis Kelce, Odell automatically becomes, let's just say, the number 2 receiver if you're going to consider Travis Kelce as number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but we also don't know what state Odell's in.
No,
I think
still. I'm assuming that he's fully healthy. He's ready to go. He took the amount of time that he needed to get healthy, to get ready, to work out, like what he's doing. I mean, if you see all of his videos, he's working out. He looks good, but I guess that it's different than when you're going on a field and you're getting hit by other grown men at full speed. It's a whole different game.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't been hit since the Super Bowl last year, and even when he got hurt, it was a non-contact injury. So,
yeah, but he's. I think no matter the version of Odell you get, he's a game changer, and that's something that, as good as that offense is, they're kind of lacking that explosion. And I don't know if Odell's the beat you over the top guy anymore, but he's his route running. He's a technical route runner. He got hands out this world. I do. Division hate aside, I would like to see him go back to the Giants, simply because I think that puts them that legitimizes them. I think that gives them that offensive weapon. Dude, did you see D? We were watching it together. Did you see the Kenny Golladay drop?
Yeah, he doesn't want to be there, and I think you had mentioned that it was like it wasn't even thrown behind him, and even if it was probably like an inch. He just blatantly dropped it.
Bro, he's like, I think he's completely checked out. It's like he got his money, and then the New York media killed him, and everybody's been getting on him, and he's just crumbled.
Listen, he just wanted to get out of his main goal was to get out of Detroit, just like everybody's main goal is.
And now he wants to get out of New York. Is there a team where he wants to play, or is he the NFL's Ben Simmons?
I don't know. Listen,
nobody could be the NFL Ben Simmons.
He's riding. Ben Simmons is going to be out of the NBA in a couple years.
How about Brooklyn? Dude, I've been reading that all day. Brooklyn don't fuck with Ben, pretty much, is what I'm hearing.
Wow.
I don't mean to kick a man when he's down.
I'm hearing KD wants out. Kyrie's about.
Well, I mean, KD basically told the media, "Do you expect me to win with Nick Claxton, Ben Simmons?" That was crazy.
That was vicious.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was vicious. KD pulled no strings. All right, so let's close out week 10. All right. Week 10, we had the only games that we didn't get to go over was the Sunday night game because it was actually on while we were live, and then the Monday night game, which was a heartbreaker to us. But let's jump into that Sunday night game real quick. Now, right before the game, or right before we went off, Derrick had put us all to a little question, and he had asked us which team we thought we were going to win. And at the time, the Chargers were ahead. The Chargers were winning. And
7 points, Thomas, by 7 points.
By 7 points. And I took the 49ers, and then Derrick took the 49ers. And then Sir LaThomas James Flynn, lover of the Los Angeles Chargers, formerly known San Diego Chargers, he took the Chargers to win. And Tom, honestly, I want to ask you what happened to your boys. They were winning, and now you got a loss.
All I'm going to say is injuries.
Injuries. That's all you got to say. D, you got anything to say about? Go ahead, Tom.
Your boy Joshua Palmer fucking stinks.
Stop it. Go ahead, D.
Listen, I get up early, so I'm not gonna lie. I didn't watch the game. I mean, as soon as we got off the podcast, I was actually kind of really tired, so I just went to sleep. But when I woke up, I was like a kid on Christmas morning. I was like, wait till we give it to Tom, because we were down. We basically took a bet, to cover 7 points, and they were underdog.
That'd have been a nice payout. We should have trusted our gut, and
that would have been a nice payout.
All right, so the better
you're
team
absolutely right, and
you
Brian,
are right.
That just puts into perspective. Plug in Aaron Rodgers on the San Francisco 49ers.
Bro, they won that game with Jimmy holding them back.
I think they're a top 4 team, at least top 4.
Listen, we're gonna get into it in the power rankings, but
I'm gonna let you know a little spoiler alert. They made my power rankings.
They made mine too, and they remain in Tom's. We know that. But so before the Eagles lost on Monday Night Football, there was this that undefeated record gives you a solid shell, right? You got a pierce resistant shell around you. Nobody could talk shit. Nobody could say a fucking word. And now we'll get into it next, but now that shell's been cracked. And the 49ers are the squad that I am most concerned about in the NFC. And I have a breakdown later. I don't want to get too much into it, but I've been saying I wouldn't put them in my power rankings last week. I wasn't like Tom. Tom was a little bit ahead of the curve. And I had even said to Tom in a conversation, I know they're going to be there. They're going to get to my power rankings. Tom don't have them going to the NFC Championship. I do. I think that they're that good. And I just needed to see them win some games. They won this game. I'll give you another spoiler alert. They didn't go up too much, but they did crack the top 10. Now they win the next game, and the next game they're going to slowly creep into the top 5. But there was an interesting thing that I caught. Just a little, I play Madden a lot, so I'm a head coach of a virtual football team. So I know what the fuck I'm talking about when it comes to clock management and score management better than the NFL guys because I play Madden. I just wanted to preface it with that. But the Chargers, they punt it down to the 1 yard line, right? Late in the fourth. And I remember in real time watching the dude catch it, and he kind of started swaying backwards. He never really set his feet. And he nearly came to a complete stop before being pushed into the end zone by his celebrating teammates. They went to hug him, and he kind of fell into the end zone. And the refs said that he had downed it at the 1, even though he called it, was immediately kind of rolling backwards and never stopped his motion. That was one that I felt like they should at least maybe take a look at. But they didn't. They let it go. And they even mentioned it on the broadcast, the same thing kind of I was thinking. But that's huge, man. That puts LA on the 1, right? Now they're on the 1 yard line, and they got to go 99 yards to win to potentially tie the game. But instead, they wind up turning it over on downs inside the 10, and San Fran gets the ball back with a chance to score a touchdown and put the game away. Now, this is the issue that I had with what San Fran did. LA had one timeout left on a 3rd and goal. Elijah Mitchell gets the ball, and kind of as soon as he gets towards the crowd, he kind of gives himself up on a play where it looks like he might be able to fight and get into the end zone. And I understand wanting to force them to take the last time out there, but that still leaves Justin Herbert, one of the best young quarterbacks in the game, regardless of his receiver situation. It leaves him a minute to go down the field where now a touchdown and an extra point beats you. You're no longer in control because now you open the door. And I know I'm creating a situation that didn't happen, but it has happened, and it's really not that uncommon. How many times do we see great quarterbacks get the ball with a minute left and they drive the length of the field to throw the game-winning touchdown, right? Just think maybe if one of his receivers make a play, that's an entirely different game. I think that I think that in that situation, you try to get the ball into the end zone there. You take that 2-score lead, and Herbert, he would have kept that one timeout, but now he has one timeout with a minute left to score twice. And honestly, if you're asking me, I'd rather this dude have to beat me twice. I'd rather concede. I'm not conceding that touchdown there. I'm going for it, trying to push it and go up 10 points. And now this dude has a minute with one timeout left. And now you got to beat me twice. And I don't get it. I thought it was a bad decision, but maybe those the coaches, Shanahan and San Fran, maybe he knows a little bit better than me because he does have a beast of a defense that has shut down pretty much everyone they play. Underrated is an understatement. They are a top 5, maybe top 3 defense. They are complete everywhere. So I feel like they should have punched it into the end zone, this dude said, even if you go for it there and you don't get it, they got to go 99 yards to get 3 points with no timeouts with a minute left. Instead, you give him the ball back at the 25-yard line. Now Herbert throws a pick, whatever, but hindsight, I mean, dude, we've seen that shit happen a million times, and I just feel like San Fran opened themselves up, for a potential chance at a heartbreaker there. But back to that defense real quick, and I'll pass it off. The defense is, man, they stood strong. They stayed true, and they showed that they are just as dominating as that offense, as the offense could be at times. And like I said, and I'm going to keep saying it, watch out for San Fran. They are dangerous. I think that they are a team that could fuck around. They look like, I know they're only 5-4, but there's just something about that game. I went back and watched it, and it wasn't a pretty game. It was an ugly game, but they look good. I'm sold on them.
I mean, I'm definitely sold on the defense.
Listen, I'm sold on the offense too. We can't act like teams haven't won Super Bowls with game managers. I mean, that's all Jimmy G is. He's a game manager. So I mean, can they get hot at the right time? Can he, get the pass going a little bit? If he could do that, I mean, anything is possible for that team. Because again, defense wins championships. You're right. You got to score points.
Yeah.
So if the Super Bowl 7-0 and their defense just holds, I mean, when the Ravens went to the Super Bowl, matter of fact, when it was Ravens 49ers, it wasn't the offenses that took them to the Super Bowl. It was their defenses.
I mean, look at the Patriots Rams.
Same thing.
So another thing is in that Super Bowl, it was the lights. It was the fucking lights. We were at your mom's house when we were watching that game.
Yeah, that was the most bizarre thing. That was the same time they took the safety too, right? That was the Super Bowl. I remember somebody won the Super Bowl block because they took a safety. It was like crazy.
I know in that Denver Seattle Super Bowl, didn't the game open up with a safety or some bullshit like that?
Yeah, but I think the Ravens took a safety at the end of the game.
That was at Derrick's house too. We watched all these Super Bowls at Derrick's house because I was a huge Peyton fan.
Because I remember me and Derrick, we looked up the odds on like what would it like the odds of the Super Bowl, like the first points being scored being like a safety or something.
Oh, I'm mistaken. It was Von Miller that got the sack.
No, it was Seattle got the safety. They snapped the ball over Peyton's head, and it went right into the end zone. Yeah. I know. I still feel that still hurts my soul. But
just like in fantasy when Peyton threw like 5 interceptions, and I went to the championship.
that was against John Jacoby. That was against I
remember that day like it was yesterday.
Me too. I lived in the apartment on Harbison Ave. I was winning. I was about to go to another fucking championship. I desperately needed that money. And Peyton Manning was playing the fucking Cincinnati Bengals, and he had thrown a couple, like, he got me enough points. I was winning by 5. And there was like, how much time was left, bro? There had to be like 8 minutes or some shit. Yeah. And then I was down. I was up by 3 with like 3 minutes left. And I said to D, I was like, he just needs to not throw 2 interceptions in the rest of this game. And they were winning. They were fucking winning. Yeah, and this motherfucker threw 2 interceptions. Bro, he threw 2. Or no, maybe they were losing and they were trying to get back.
No, they were losing. They were losing. Because he threw, that was like, I think that was the worst game of his career.
He threw 5 picks.
The last interception, I remember it being right on the sideline. Like, it was a great catch. If I'm not mistaken, was it Pac-Man Jones I called it?
Yep.
Yeah, probably.
I remember it because I'm looking at him like the rise up by 1. I'm like, the only thing that fucking Manning can't do is fumble the ball or throw an interception. And he threw a pass on the sideline, and I don't know how the fuck Pac-Man Jones caught this and got his feet. And I remember it. It was insane. My jaw dropped. I'm like, there's no way Ryan just lost by 1 point because of Peyton
like $1,000-something for that bullshit, man. I was sick to my stomach, bro. Almost as sick to my stomach as I was Monday night watching our boys get absolutely fucking bullied. They got bullied. They got fucked each and every way by the Redskins. I mean, the Commanders. The refs. I'm not going to get on the refs, but the refs weren't the best. I'll just say that. And they got the injury bug. Dallas goes down, and that's a big injury for us right now. And Washington, man, as much as I want to talk about how bad the Eagles were, I got to talk about how good the Foreskins were. They controlled time of possession. They ran the ball, and you seen the Eagles address that immediately, going out and signing Sue and fucking Linval Joseph. And it's the NFC East, bro. The Commanders are a half game out of the 7th playoff spot, the 3rd wild card spot, and the NFC East is looking like the best division in football. But we'll get into that. What do you guys got on the Monday Night Football game?
I only have 2 things. Congratulations to Ron Rivera. He coached a hell of a game. Just like I said it. Run the rock, manage the clock, and I guess he must have listened to the pod last weekend because he did exactly that. And the other thing I'm going to say is you can see the difference. This team is actually playing Heineke. Like, they're actually playing for this kid. When Carson was in there, for Heineke. When Carson was in there, I just didn't feel that same thing. Like, I don't even think what did Heineke get sacked maybe twice?
Yeah, they like him.
Yeah.
They like
that makes you question what type of locker room player, what type of locker room guy is Carson,
I don't question. Good.
And they're rolling. I think they're gonna roll with Heineke the rest of the season.
They should.
They did. They said he's starting the next game, and I think that they should. Tom, go ahead.
All I want to say is 67,000 people were disappointed.
Yes, I'm so glad I didn't sit out in that cold for that.
7,000 people watched.
I mean,
a horrible fucking game plan on both sides of the ball. I mean, Nick act like the run game didn't exist. Like in the first half, what do we run the ball 3 times?
Yeah, time possession was
second half. Second half, we started running the ball, and what happens? It's effective. And I'm not one that's going to blame the refs too much because I understand they missed that blade. Just like Jason Kelsey said, there was no penalty. That face mask. There wasn't no face mask on that play because the ref didn't throw the flag. There was no flag on that play.
Fuck that. It was a face mask.
It was 100% a face mask. We all know that, but that face mask isn't the reason why Dallas fumbled that ball.
It's the reason why he got fucked. It is the reason he fumbled the ball.
He still needs to hold on to that ball.
Dog, his face is getting ripped to the side as he's being pulled down. Tom, let me put a fucking helmet on your head and rip your face and let us punch the ball.
I'm going to fall down with the ball.
No. There's no way.
All right.
Not the way he got pulled down, dude. Not the way he got pulled.
And that face mask, didn't help. I guess that face mask caused Quiz Watkins to fumble the ball.
No, that was on Quiz.
He just fumbled.
The point is that ball, Dallas got it. Nobody touched the ball. He literally just dropped it.
So yeah, but Tom, if you're getting yanked with your momentum, if you're getting yanked down.
Yeah,
number one, he already
run it back every day though. I can show you multiple videos of worse face masks right now, and no fumbles happen.
Okay. I think you're missing the main point of that fucking face mask call because that face mask call automatically wipes out the fumble, so there is no fumble.
Sure. The fumble should.
Okay, so then it doesn't happen. So then
there was no face mask. The ref didn't throw the flag.
You're right. You're 100% right, Jason.
Thank you.
All right, so I have a question for you both then, since we're just on the topic of referees, and I mean we could talk about this all day. We didn't get this call, but sometimes calls favor us. So, are you in favor of bringing back that challenging penalties?
Yeah, but I thought you were only able to challenge a pass interference call, not a face mask call.
I'm just saying in general, on a crucial play like that, are you for challenging penalties or not?
I'm not against it, but it's going to take up a lot of time
because they challenged the fumble. It would have took the same amount of time.
No, but you're saying that you could say every single play is a crucial play.
Yeah, I understand that, but what I'm saying, you only get 3 challenges. So teams get 3 challenges regardless. So what is the difference from a challenge of a fumble and a face mask? You don't think that challenge would have took 2 minutes to decide, maybe less?
Listen, when they were challenging the fumble regardless, the ref had to be like, damn, I really fucked up.
I know, so that's why
he had to watch that face mask multiple times and be like, how the fuck did I not see that? Or, damn, I really did see that and I just ate the fucking flag. Fuck the Eagles.
Right, but that's why I'm asking you, are you in favor of it? You're saying it would take too much time, but it wouldn't. So you're okay with that. Remember, it's going to be against your team too.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So
how about you, Ryan?
I think that I'm very pissed off about that whole ordeal. I think that now I get what Tom's saying, where everything at that point you have to fucking review everything. But I feel like one, it was a turnover. All turnovers should be reviewed. And if there's something that blatant that causes the turnover, because if Jalen Hurts throws it downfield and who are we playing? Washington, their corner, I don't know. One of their corners fucking jumps on A.J. Brown's back and tips it in the air, and his defender, his teammate, catches it and runs it for a touchdown. The pass interference negates it. So I feel like it should have been reviewed because it was a turnover. And when that circumstances like that, it has to be judgment on the refs at that point. Yo, we pay you all this money, judge this play. Did that directly cause him to lose the ball? And if so, then if not, if it's a face mask after the fact, then you just move them back 15 yards. But I mean, that was pretty fucking clear. As the hand goes on the face mask, the ball is secured. As the hand turns, the ball starts to come loose after the head is being yanked a different way. Like that shit. I don't know. I think they need to. I don't want to get into a thing where you review every play, but that was such a crucial play. Maybe there's a time limit inside 5 minutes. They can review this or review that. Or maybe they don't have the fucking refs go to these sets. You can't tell me, dude, most of these replays that go up, they got such great fucking technology and these crazy cameras and views now that it's like we know the answer for most of these within 10 seconds of looking at it.
Right.
And I understand that they got to get the clock right. They got to get this right. But why don't they have someone up in the fucking booth that's like, all right, we have the time and down and distance. We'll put it up on the clock. Refs, you adjust your shit, boom, done. And then somebody else in New York that's just calling plays. All right, real quick, boom, that comes across, 30 seconds in and out. All right, it's a fumble, go. Like, you guys, you're the NFL. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But somehow we're letting plays like this dictate outcomes of games. But again,
Derrick, you're talking about you get 3 challenges, whether you're challenging an offensive play or a defensive play, correct?
Right.
Like you're not talking about you get like 3 challenges total, whether you're challenging the spot or you're challenging a fumble.
I'm just saying that the 3 challenges that you normally get, whether it's anything, it's still going to take the same amount of time as if you challenge per se.
Well, you only get 2 challenges, and then you get a third one if you win.
Oh, same thing, 2 challenges. That's what I'm thinking of time out.
I'm cool with even giving a third challenge. That's it.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if you can't review penalties, then what the fuck's the point of giving a third challenge?
Listen, I hate to blame refs, but that was a crucial play by the referees because we were driving. There was momentum there.
Yeah,
there was a ton of momentum,
and it sucks. It sucks. Real quick, Tom, Sean in the comments, lock of the week better be Ravens over the Panthers. You may actually get one right, Tom. And then Dylan responded, do you really want him jinxing the Ravens? So, you think about jinxing the Ravens this week?
I'm not saying shit.
All right. So, Eagles fall. It's their first loss of the season. Are they still the NFC favorite?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so.
But I'm previewing. Well, I'll be the lead of their preview, so I'll get into it a little bit later. But they're still the favorite.
All right, yeah, I feel like they are, but I feel like the gap that I thought they had is now gone.
Right. That's I'm in the same boat.
That shell has been cracked. All right, so
Correct.
let's jump to some week 11 games. And the one I want to start, and we're gonna do a little bit different this week. Each guy's gonna take their games, and at the end of our breakdowns, we're gonna pick which team we win, and that's gonna be our picks of the week, and we're gonna track them. Right now, Derrick has a 3-1 record, Ryan has a 3-1 record, and Tom has a 2-2 record because he picked the Chargers. Boo, Tom. All right,
I want it on record that last week I took teams with the spread on like YouTube bums.
And
my even was still pretty good.
Yeah, even if you went straight up.
And I lost with the Bills.
Dude, I picked the fucking Steelers.
Steelers were 1-point favorites.
It's the Steelers. Kenny Pickett has tiny hands. Who's picking him?
They were favorites.
Mike Fiore says, without question, the Philadelphia Eagles, without question, they are the favorite, but there is more than one team that could vie for the mantle. I agree. I do agree. Like I said earlier, the indestructible fucking shell on our back has been pierced. All right, Bears, Falcons, and let me say this right. The Bears are heading to ATL to battle the Dirty Birds, and Marcus Flynn Mariota is looking for a chance to rebound after a bad performance last week, highlighted by a boneheaded decision a really boneheaded decision, one of the dumbest things I think I've ever seen. That led to a pick amongst a bunch of other just really bad football plays. I don't think he could have had a worse game, and he has to have heard the chatter this week as it continues to grow louder with fans starting to talk more and more about rookie quarterback Desmond Ridder. So I've been thinking all week, could the Falcons be moving towards backtracking their decision to hold Ridder out till next year? Or Or is it something to where can we see him coming this year, or are they going to stick with Mariota? And then on the other side, that boy Justin Fields is on an absolute tear as of late. And the Bears, man, they're just hoping that all this production that he has will eventually lead to a win in one of these games. I mean, he's been lights out in the rushing attack, and he's currently sixth in the league. He's sixth in the league in rushing yards, and he's a quarterback. So he's sixth amongst everyone as a quarterback, and his quarterback play has gotten better as of late. So I killed him for that the last couple of weeks. I want to make sure that I give him the same energy on the opposite side because he's looking better. He's looking like a future star, and I still want to see more. And I understand that Chicago might realize that they don't have an opportunity to win the Super Bowl this year, but I do think that a spot or two might have to be sacrificed in exchange for Justin Fields closing out one of these games, because I think that experience that he will get from that, leading the team to the win, that's like a rally cry. Like I think that team will build around him, and you've seen it with Jalen last year. It can carry into the next year, and they have a whole lot of cap. They have a great chance at a top 5 pick, and the future is looking a lot better in Chicago than it's looked, previously. But I think that, like I said, I think he needs to close one of these games out and start winning. Both of these teams coming into this game, they're relying heavily on the ground attack, on offense. If we had two of the highest run usage teams in the league going against less than stellar rush defenses. Atlanta has a 4-headed monster going for them this year, while Chicago's coming into this game without running back Khalil Herbert, who will miss at least the next 4 games with a hip injury that landed him on the IR this week. I actually think it was yesterday. The key to this game is going to really be which offense can have a safe and effective passing attack to go along with that rushing attack that we know they're both going to have. And defensively, it's going to be which team can slow down the other team's rush attack. So for Atlanta, my player to watch is going to be Marcus Mariota. And the reason being is if he loses this game, it will be his 3rd straight, and 4 of his last 5 games will be losses with that one win that he has. And D, this is all like very close after I told you I thought they were going to make the playoffs. That one win that he does have is the one that the Panthers just continued to just give to him. They couldn't win it. They couldn't close it out with the penalties and the field goals. But listen, the outside noises are going to grow louder no matter how many times Arthur Smith tells them there's no situation. There's going to be a situation. And on the other side, Chicago's player to watch is going to be Justin Fields. He's the most exciting young quarterback in the league over the last 4 weeks, and he just continues to shine individually. But again, he needs to figure out how a way to convert these big games into wins. And once he does that, I'm going to go on record right here, right now, and say, look out, league. This is a great chance for him to get a really, in my opinion, for his career, not his career, that's a little dramatic, but to upstart his career and get him ready, get him used to winning. I think this is a big game, and I think they're going to win this one. I got the Bears winning 29-27.
So I do think the Bears win, but to piggyback off your Ritter comment, what is Ritter learning from Mariota sitting on the bench, honestly?
What not to do in an NFL game.
Good point.
That you don't, when you're being dragged to the ground and you're almost laying on the ground, don't try to throw the ball up. These are NFL players, not fucking college players. They're going to make the play. I think that's what he's learning.
There you go. But I do agree with, I don't know if Ritter's the guy. I hope he is. I mean, he was still questionable in college. But listen, Atlanta took a gamble on him. Mm-hmm. High risk, low risk, high reward.
Yeah.
So, but talk about Justin Fields, dude. He's one guy that I thought was going to come out of college, and if I'm being completely honest with you, be a complete bust. A complete bust. And that was because, I mean, going to Chicago's in a complete rebuild season. I didn't know if Justin Fields was going to be able to handle that himself. But I mean, picking up Chase Claypool, I mean, I'm not 100% positive what his stats are in Chicago, but I do know he helps spread the field. Darnell Mooney, I don't think is a number 1 receiver, so we're going to have to see what they can do in the offseason. I mean, getting rid of 2 of your best defenders in Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn. So, like you said, they can get a top 5 pick, and I think that's the way they should go. But this is the NFL, so this ain't like the NBA where you just lose games on purpose. You play to win every game, because playing to win every game is only going to make you better. It's only going to build you chemistry. But I mean, Justin Fields get the chemistry in with the tight end is Cole Kmet.
Balled out.
Get the chemistry with him. I don't know if Darnell Mooney's going to be out there long. Get the chemistry with him. I mean, they traded for Chase Claypool, so I'm assuming he's going to be there for a few years. Chicago in a couple years, like you said, could be back on track and pretty goddamn good.
I agree. D.
All I'm going to say about Justin Fields is he's leading his team in rushing. He has half the amount of rushing yards as he has passing yards. So is he liable to be, in that top 5, top 7 quarterback, best quarterback range? He has the tools. He just doesn't have the people around him to be that. And I mean, they got Claypool. Hopefully, he can get going, because it'd be nice to see him get going. I mean, he wasn't a bad receiver in Pittsburgh, but going back to the Atlanta Falcons and Ritter, that you're probably not going to win that division with Tom Brady in your division.
Okay.
So, I mean, at this point, you kind of know what Mariota is. You already know what he is. You saw, you basically know what he can give you. So why not? And I know teams are, especially with quarterbacks that are drafted later in rounds and not, high profile quarterbacks, they try to, give them a little bit of time off and get them a little bit more developed. But I say you throw Ritter to the Wolves. You see how he does. Because again, he's not learned anything from Mariota. The only thing, like you said, the only thing he's learned is what not to do. So if I'm the Falcons, I throw in Ritter, try to get him to build chemistry with these young receivers, because they have good receivers. Try to get him to, build that rapport and the chemistry. So next year they have a chance, because if quite frankly, the NFC South is one of those divisions that's kind of like open. Like, anybody can kind of step up and get that momentum going and take the division. Because it's not like a crazy division where there's like a juggernaut team where it's like, all right, we're not going to catch anything. It's a division where, okay, we can't even make the wild card with our records, so let's try to win the division. And I feel like the Falcons are right there. You have Tom Brady kind of kicking the curb. The Panthers don't know what the hell they're going to do. The Saints are in the same boat. They're all in the same boat kind of right now, if you think about it, except for the Buccaneers. They have the GOAT, whatever. But once he leaves, it's kind of season. So I understand, Kyle Trask is learning under Brady and everything, but we don't know what he is. So why not get Ritter in there, unless they have a different plan of signing somebody? Like, it'd be nice to see Lamar Jackson go there, honestly. But, to see, okay, maybe Ritter can get it done for us. Maybe he can't. Because if not, you got to look for a new quarterback. You're not doing anything with Mariota. So, I mean, again, Justin Fields, do I think he's going to be in the league for years to come? Yes. Because he has a nice arm, too. He just doesn't have the legs. But the legs are a bonus. Because now every team is afraid of, you running 200, 150 yards a game on them. So that opens up the pass. That opens up play action. That opens up, different avenues. And I'm just like you. I have the Bears winning this game 27-17.
27-17. Tom, this won't go on your official record, but who do you got winning?
The Bears. The Bears. 31-24.
And because all three of us went on Chicago, it looks like the Atlanta Falcons are going to win. Hey, the Sunday, it's not Sunday, it's Thursday. Thursday night football, the Titans are up 7-0. Tannehill hit Hilliard out the backfield, and it is snowing in Lambeau. So that's a little thing to keep, to watch on D. Go ahead, bro.
All right, so I got the Jets and Pats. What I'm going to be looking for in this game is going to be the test for, Zach Wilson. He hasn't been really lighting it up this season, and he's going to face old short sleeve Bill. So I'll be tuned into this game. Zach Wilson, his defense has been keeping him alive. That defense is nasty. They're ranked 7th right now, letting yards per game up to opposing offenses. So I'm looking forward to see what their defense can do against the Patriots. And also, I'm looking to see what Mac Jones could do in this game, whether he progresses or regresses, because that's going to tell us what is going on in New England. Is it the Mac Jones show or is it the Brandon Zappi show? So we got to kind of see what goes on there. And like you said, Bill he thrives on making these younger quarterbacks kind of, be scared, and he takes advantage of them. So they got to get they got to get their run game going against this team and kind of let their defense just do their thing. But I'm telling you, if they beat the Patriots, this is a game where a lot of people have circled on their schedule.
Yeah.
Just because this is a statement game. The Patriots are the greatest in the world, but their coaching just outweighs everything. So if the Jets can they already got a signature win against the Bills. I think if they beat the Patriots, I think they're in that upper echelon of teams. And not only that, if they win and the Dolphins somehow lose, I believe they're tied for first. Yes, the New York Jets are tied for first in the AFC East. So we can say that the NFC East, maybe it's the clash of the Easts, because the NFC East is maybe the best, division in the league. But right under them, I would say the AFC East is the next best division with the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets. But again, I look for the Jets to just manage this game for, Zach Wilson, and to see if he can, try to get it going. Because again, he's got 4 TDs, 5 interceptions, only 1,200 passing yards on the season. So I look for them to give the ball to Bryce Hall and get him kind of running, get his run game going. But again, I like the Jets to win this game. Very close game, 20-17. So just real quick on just sticking on the whole Patriots scenario. And I'll start with you, Rye. What show do you think it's going to be by the end of the season? The Mac Jones show or the Zappi show?
I honestly think the shows are getting canceled. I don't think either. Yeah. Breece Hall is out for the season. It was James Robinson we were talking about. You and I were talking about that earlier. I fucked up. Told you. We were talking about Breece Hall's. See, Dylan, a Jets fan, made sure he let us know. I think both quarterbacks are. I mean, why would you want either one of them? For real. Neither of them really propel your offense to do much of anything. Not from what I've seen. I think that the Patriots are another team that are going to be stuck in limbo because they're going to have a nice roster around them, so they're not going to get one of those bottom picks to go grab a quarterback. But I don't think that. I think for the rest of this season, it's probably going to be Mac simply because they have more invested into him. But I don't see either of them really panning out for old short sleeve Bill.
Tom, what do you think?
I'm big on Zappi. I think he's better than Mac Jones. That's just my opinion. Then again, my opinion means nothing because New England they don't know what the fuck they want. They're still living in the desire of them losing Tom Brady. So New England's never going to draft a quarterback that can replace Brady. Everybody knows that. So go ahead, Rye.
No. I agree with what you said. Nobody's ever going to draft another quarterback to replace Brady.
But like Rye said, they're too invested in Mac Jones, picking him in the first round. So I think it is the Mac Jones show unless something happens, like he gets hurt again. God forbid he doesn't. Don't wish injury on anybody. But on the other side, on the Jet side, I do think that you're going to see a high dosage of Michael Carter and James Robinson. I think that's the way that you have to win, is to keep Bill's offense off the field and just manage the game. Zach Wilson's never going to beat you. It seems like he's never going to be able to beat you in the air. I mean, I've never seen anything. I've never seen anything that could prove. I mean, we all know he has a cannon of an arm. He could probably throw 80 fucking yards, but he has nobody to go catch the ball. So they're going to rely on Sauce and that defense, baby. Sauce it up.
Yeah,
Saucy.
Sauce kind of reminds me of like I don't even know you can compare it. Maybe like a prime time. He loves the spotlight. He's one of those guys. Not saying, play wise, but Just his swagger. His swagger is like next level.
He loves the spotlight, like you said. He loves the attention.
Right. Like, I mean, not an arrowhead. He was wearing a cheese head. He's one of those type guys.
That was. I fuck with that. D, who do you got winning this game? Because I have an interesting little stat that I had read just briefly looking through this game, and I want to know if what side we're all going to be on.
I got the Jets, 20-17.
Tom?
Jets, 27-24.
Ooh.
All right, so
I think it's going to be a defensive game.
I do too, and because of that, I'm going to go Patriots. Now, the Jets have lost, and Dylan, you're still with us, bro. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But the Jets are losers of 13 straight to the Patriots.
Oh, wow.
13 straight games. So this is their chance this year to kind of break that streak. Or Bill just stomps on their throat and says, 7 years in a row, we've been whooping your ass. Really, it's been longer than that, but it would be 7 straight years without a win.
I did not know that. I thought there was an upset a few years ago. I would assume there was an upset a few years ago.
I can only read the stats that are put in front of me, Thomas, and I hope I'm not wrong. All right. What's the next game we got on the board? Big Tommy.
So I got the Bills versus the Browns. So for the second time in 8 years, the Bills have to move their home game to Detroit. And with that being said, Detroit finally gets a good team that plays at home this week. So the key to the Bills are working to bounce back from a crucial loss in overtime to the Vikings last week. We all seen that game. We all know how that game went. And they lost the last 2 games in a row, which is in the past few years under Josh Allen. That's something that we haven't seen too often. The key for Buffalo to get back in the win column is definitely to stop the run against Cleveland. If this game was going to be played in Buffalo, I would assume that's correct. 13 straight. On the other hand, we haven't lost away. So I would have assumed that if this game was played in Buffalo, everything would have favored Cleveland with the run game, giving the ball to Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I mean, I'll take Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt over Devin Singletary. But now that the game goes to Detroit, Buffalo gets to play their game. They're in a dome. They don't have to worry about no type of weather. They don't have to worry about no fans. I mean, everything plays in the favor of the Buffalo Bills now. But for the dog pound, they need to pound the rock. Despite last week only giving Nick Chubb, who's arguably one of the NFL's best running backs, the ball 11 total times. That just doesn't make any sense. Tom finished crying over Izzy losing yet. We're on the NFL, brother. We'll talk about UFC in a little bit because Izzy's 10 times better than Robbie Whittaker. Anyway, I'm going to predict that Nick Chubb touched the ball at least a total of 30-plus times this week.
Ooh.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say I would be very happy.
I mean, despite the Bills lost. I mean, their defense. They have four of their top 11 starting defenders are hurt with Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Tre'Davious White, Trayvon Edmonds. I mean, this is a big game for the Bills. They're in a must-win situation right now, and that's only because of how big the AFC is. And I'm pretty sure Buffalo would much rather host a playoff game and try to still fight with KC against the number one to get the number 1 seed, if even possible at this point. But Buffalo can't honestly afford to lose any more games. So with that said, my players to watch, I think, is Nick Chubb, and I think Stephon Diggs blows up this week.
Chubb and Diggs. Let me write that down for daily fantasy purposes. Go ahead.
And with that being said, the Bills bounce back game now that it's in Detroit, bounce back game for the Bills, 37-24 Bills. And this only benefits Buffalo because now with the fact that they're playing Sunday and they got the turnaround to play Thursday, they have no travel. And me assuming that with the snow in Buffalo, they're just going to hang it out at a hotel in Detroit, knowing that they're playing in Detroit on Thursday night on Thanksgiving. So I think with that mindset, they don't have to worry about any traveling. They're going to play their game Sunday. They're going to go back to the hotel Sunday, knowing that I don't think they can fly back to Buffalo if Buffalo's supposed to get the 4 feet of snow that they're predicting. So they're just gonna stay in Detroit, hang it out, and they're gonna win back-to-back games.
Yeah, interesting.
Derrick, your mic's off, Derrick.
My bad. So I think this is a must-win for both teams. And the reason why I say that is because the AFC East is just too tough a division for the Bills. So I think if they lose this game, the Dolphins win a game, the Jets win a game, talking 2 games up on the Bills. Now, again, I don't know their schedule, but if those teams are trending in that direction, you got to think that, they're probably not going to regress. They're just going to go, keep moving forward. Cleveland, I just think they need to win the game for morale purposes. Just to, get the train going before Deshaun Watson comes back to see what he kind of can do with this team going forward. But I think that they definitely this is a must-win for both teams, and just in my opinion. Do I think the Browns? Do I think they beat the Bills? No, just because the Bills dropped the last one to the Vikings. So I think that this is kind of a statement game. I think that they come back and kind of show the world that we're still here, type of thing. Because last week we were calling them a juggernaut team. Now you have the Jets and the Dolphins ahead of them in the division. So I definitely think that the Bills will win this game. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game, especially for the Bills. I think they're going to probably be in the 30s, like a 31 to, say, 23 game. I think it'll be in that range.
Yeah, I think I'm going to side with you on Buffalo, on both of you guys, with Buffalo winning. I just don't see a scenario where the Bills lose 3 in a row. And if they do, and I'm a prelude to, do not be surprised if they lose this game and you don't see them in my top 10 next week. Don't say a word to me. Don't say a word, because it's now or never for them. With the uncertainty of Josh, with his injuries and whatnot, and just the poor play that they've gotten out of him in crucial situations. Again, I talked about that earlier. It's just they gotta put something together. We can't just keep, oh, they're the Bills, they'll rebound. Oh, they're the Bills, they'll rebound, because that was the mindset that Eagles fans got into the year after the Super Bowl, and we stunk and we just never rebounded. So, of course, I think Buffalo's a very good team. I think Josh Allen is a great quarterback, but this is for them where they need to show up. They need to show the league, like, listen, we slipped up, but we're still here. God damn it, this is our show, right? And it's not their show anymore. I don't have them as the top or the top 2 AFC teams. I think they're the second best team in their division now. I think that they're the third best AFC team. I know that Kansas City, they beat them head to head, but Kansas City got 2 losses now. Buffalo has 3, and Kansas City doesn't have an injured quarterback. On the other side, I'm excited to kind of see what the Browns do next week with Deshaun Watson coming back. Is it next week? No, 2 weeks, week 13, Tom. We talked about
the bye week. I keep putting in the bye week into effect, so that bye week doesn't count as a suspended week.
Okay, so I think that the Browns, if Stefanski was listening to us last week, he will, as Tom said, he will give Nick Chubb the ball 30 plus times, and I think that's what they need. If they don't, I will be back here Sunday ripping this dude, because I will be sick of it. I will just be dumbfounded, and I will be going on Indeed, and I will be submitting an application to the Cleveland Browns to become their new head coach. Game of the week, maybe. Cowboys-Vikings is the one I want to jump into. The high-flying Minnesota Vikings, who are coming in fresh off a huge win versus Buffalo Bills, who at the time were presumably the number 1 team in the AFC. And now they, as in the Minnesota Vikings, they sit a head-to-head loss away from being the top seed in the NFC. Their opponent, the Dallas Cowboys, are entering the game fresh off of a huge in-conference loss against the struggling Packers, who were able to snap a 5-game losing streak last weekend at the expense of Brokeback Mountain's favorite Cowboys, the ones from Dallas. Dookie Dak and the gang enter the fourth quarter of Sunday's game with a 195-0 record in games in which They entered the fourth with at least a 14-point lead. They were 195-0. Rodgers and rookie wide receiver Christian Watson, they're ready to put a change to that as Rodgers led 2 fourth-quarter touchdown drives, both of them going to Watson to get Green Bay back into the game. And then after a failed fourth down attempt in overtime, which seen Mike McCarthy smash his headset, or at least attempt to, the Cowboys had to watch Mason Crosby take that perfect streak that they had, right? They took that perfect streak that Dallas had, and he put his own streak on it. It was a nice shit-stained one loss for Jerry and the boys. Now, this week, Dallas does have a great chance to rebound and get a huge win when they travel to Minnesota to take on the 8-1 Vikings, but it's not going to be an easy task. Minnesota has proven that they can hang with the big dogs, while Dallas shows that they can still, they kind of show their true losing colors at any time in any game. And again, Dallas's defense is great, no doubt about that. But like I said last week, where they can be hurt is in their run defense. It's their weakest defensive unit. Last week, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, they tag team Dallas for 203 yards and a touchdown on the ground. This week, Dalvin Cook should be looking to feast, and I don't see why Minnesota wouldn't give him the chance. Dallas has the 7th lowest rated rush defense, according to PFF, while their pass rush and their pass coverage both rank in the top 6, with their pass rush being number 1. So kind of like where I think the Vikings would be foolish to attack Dallas is in the medium and the long passing attack. Now, I know they have Justin Jefferson and they want to get him involved, but Dallas likes to bring the heat. And they, like I said, they do have the best pass rush in the league, combined with a secondary that is bordering top 5. I don't think that throwing the game on the back of Kirk Cousins is the play here. Heavy dose of Dalvin Cook. Now, on the other side, I feel completely different. Zeke is back this week, and Tony Pollard continues to shine, coming off a game in which he had 115 rushing yards and a touchdown. That gives him 246 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns in the 2 games that Zeke missed. And while I do think that those two would be able to put together a solid game against any opponent, the Minnesota Vikings defense has their strengths and they have their weaknesses. But their main strength is their rush defense. That's the best unit that defense has, and it's much stronger than their pass coverage, which has been kind of an Achilles heel this far for the Vikings. Now, they are very bend, don't break. They give up a lot of yards, but they're bottom 10 in points given up, well, top 10 in points given up. But I am looking for Dak to respond to the criticism that he's been getting this week, and for him to show that he could take over and lead this team. And I do think that that's what he's going to have to do to beat this Vikings team. I don't think that it's going to be now Pollard and Zeke could eat, they could do their thing, but I think Dak's the one that's going to have to take this game and win it for them. My players to watch for Dallas is going to be Dak for just that reason, and my players to watch for Minnesota is going to be Dalvin Cook. I think he's going to have a huge game, and in this game, I have the Minnesota Vikings as the number 2 ranked team, and I don't think they're going to win this game. I think the Cowboys are going to win 28-24, and I hate to say it, but with that Eagles loss, I just feel like this NFC East is just going to continue to get tighter, and that starts with Dallas beating Minnesota and kind of separating us at the 1 seed a little bit, but bringing the division tighter.
Yeah, I agree with 99% of everything you said. The 1% I don't agree with is the Minnesota Vikings are going to ride high off of Patrick Peterson's game last week. And they're going to beat the Dallas Cowboys at home. And that's solely because they're at home. Sort of like you said with the NFC East getting tighter and tighter, Minnesota knows that they're sitting at 1 loss just like us. They're in must-win mode. Now that we're playing the Indianapolis Colts, they're playing the Dallas Cowboys. They know if they beat the Cowboys, it's a bigger game for them. They can't afford to drop another game because they do not have the head-to-head over us. That is the sole reason why we're sitting at the number 1 team in NFC right now, is because we beat the Minnesota Vikings. But I do agree with you. I do not think Kirk Cousins is going to beat the Dallas Cowboys secondary by himself. I do think you'll see a lot of those high dosage from Dalvin Cook and Alexander
Madison.
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of high doses from both of them. I think Justin Jefferson's still going to eat. He's still going to do what he wants. I mean, if you're putting him up against Trayvon Diggs, honestly, I'm taking Justin Jefferson every day over Diggs. I mean, Diggs is a ball hawk. I don't think he's the best coverage cornerback, but I mean, the guy knows where to be at the right time. That's just my opinion. On the other side with the Cowboys, I'm just going to say it, and I'm going to say it again. Micah Parsons.
Hmm.
He's going to be, again, all over the field. Healthy Micah Parsons. He's unreal. But like Demarcus Lawrence is eating. Everybody on that D line's eating. Everybody on the defense is eating. I do think it's going to be a tough, very, very, very tough game. I can see some scoring, not much. I can see a lot of scoring, not many touchdowns. I can see a lot of field goals. I personally do think it's going to be like a 17-16 game, some bullshit like that. Like a two high-powered offenses always it's going to be a blunderfuck, and it's going to give us a low-scoring game somehow.
Blunderfuck. I liked blunderfuck. Quick update: the Packers just scored. Aaron Rodgers hit rookie wide receiver that we just talked about, Christian Watson, for 14 yards for a touchdown. That boy is got 4 touchdowns in 1 and 1/4 game.
He's making that rookie look good, baby.
Sir D.
So I gotta side with Rye again, and it's just because I think they drank too much booze on the plane ride back. But no, seriously. I think that basically this again. It comes to the ground. It comes down to the ground game. Who's going to have a better rush attack? Will be the Minnesota Vikings 1-2 punch, or will be Dallas's 1-2 punch? And I think Dallas's 1-2 punch is a little bit better. And I think that Micah Parsons will, have a good effect on, stopping that rush defense to allow his corners to be able to have a little bit better coverage, and also get to Kirk Cousins and put him under pressure a little bit more. Also, I think that the key to this game is, for Dak, is to get his tight end going and get Michael Gallup going. I'm not sure who their tight end is, but all successful Cowboys teams, they always had a decent tight end, and they always had him going. And I just feel, go ahead.
Dalton Schultz. You don't remember? I broke his ass down and said he was going to do something, and he scored a touchdown in that game. But go ahead. Dalton Schultz is their tight end. And they just signed a receiver. I'll get to who that was. Go.
Yeah, but again, I think that he has to get them going because he's just too locked in on CD right now. And I mean, don't get me wrong, CD is a great wide receiver. I'm mad that we didn't move up to get him. But in order to get him freed up a little bit, you've got to hit other guys. You have to. And I think that that's the recipe for success. I think that, just like Rai said, Dak has something to prove. So I think they're going to come in with a vengeance to try to, get this W. And I mean, I just play numbers. You got to play the numbers. At some point, the Vikings have to lose. They just have to. It can't be, just us that beats the Vikings. There has to be a letdown game somewhere. I thought the Bills would beat them straight up. And the Cowboys signed Antonio Callaway, get him going a little bit more too. So I think that's just the recipe. Get the ball moving, get it around. That's it. Get the ball going and lock it into different receivers.
Agreed.
So just I had that game, and Tom, I know you had a low. What was your score, Ryan?
I don't think I did a score. Did I? Hold up. Go ahead. I'll get you my score. Oh, 28-24 Cowboys over the Vikings.
I'm going to go 27-24 Cowboys.
You trying to undercut me, huh? Okay.
I just gotta throw in a little field goal in there.
Okay, I like it.
All right, so moving on to my game of the week. Might not be your game of the week, but it's definitely my game. The Raiders versus Broncos slop fest.
Whoa.
It's a slop fest that I'll be tuned into, and I will enjoy it. Just based on a couple of things. Number one, this is a game that can get the Raiders back on track. They beat the Broncos in week 4, 32-23. So this is a game where the Raiders can get back on track, and Derrick Carr can get going. So I kind of play the momentum game, and I kind of play, I like to go off of emotion, and that's what I'm going based off of emotion. I don't feel confident at all in Russell Wilson. I do not feel confident. I just feel like he doesn't have an offense right now that he could even get going. You got guys like Jerry Jeudy out and stuff like that. So I just don't think the Broncos have what it takes to turn around the season to even try to get some type of momentum going into next season because the season is over. But week 10, you've seen a grown man cry in a press conference. Literally in tears. If that doesn't show you passion, I don't know what does. And that kind of made me like Derrick Carr a little bit more than I did because he actually cares. I thought he was just a guy that went out there, just played the game week in, week out, don't care if you win or lose. But literally, he went out there and just so emotional because he wants to win. And he feels like he has what it takes to win.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have we talked a little bit about who's on the hot seat. And I swear, they must listen to this podcast. This is a great podcast. Because I mentioned Josh McDaniels. And you said, no, you don't think that, he's kind of still young in the season. And what does Al Davis come out and say? Rome wasn't built overnight.
Al got me on, or Mark, Al Davis, whatever Davis, he got me on the payroll.
No. Al Davis right then.
Yeah. I get them confused. I just know the one with the bad haircut.
Yeah, they're both weird looking. Sorry,
the one with
Davis family. They have more money than I'll ever see in my life. But seriously, literally, he went and backed his quarterback, and I mean his coach, and basically said, he basically has a free pass this season. And then you have guys like Carr. You have guys like Devontae Adams coming and pick. So I'm really interested to see, what comes out of this. Do they come out and they just ball out because they're playing for their coach now? Because I mean, Josh McDaniels, he's no slouch. He coached the Patriots for a long time. He's an offensive mind. I mean, I would put him up there with the Shanahans of the coaching world. He's still young in his head coaching tenure, but I think he has what it takes. I think he, everybody says, "Oh, Tom Brady," but he had those fast passes. Those, he kind of reinvented that type of offense, and I think the Raiders are going to blow the Broncos out this week, 35-13.
Sheesh!
This is a comeback game.
All right, so I'm the one tagged of going next. I'm gonna argue. I'm about to argue. What in the world makes you think that the Raiders are about to put up 35? Who's gonna be the game? Who's gonna be the star for them?
It's gonna be Devontae Adams.
They got the best passing fucking the pass coverage, the best pass coverage defense in the league. Does Denver
and Josh Jacobs,
bro? Oh my God. I don't see. All right. So the Denver Broncos have a top 3 rated defense, right? Their pass defense is number 1 in the league, their pass coverage. Now they are weak in the rush defense, and their tackling is fucking piss poor. I will give you that. But that pass defense. Now Josh Jacobs, I agree. If they're gonna beat you. If they're going to beat the shit out of the Broncos, it's got to be through the air, and I don't know if they got what it takes. I think that they could put up a good half, like they did. Maybe put up half of the game. But I don't know if they're going to beat up on that secondary that Denver has all night long.
They already beat up on them. They put 32 on them.
Okay, and this is the game where you got to show me that you could do it twice because they've been.
And that's when they had Chubb. That's when they had Chubb too. Now they have no Chubb.
And what week was that?
Week 4.
Okay, so that was when the Raiders still thought they had a chance to do something. The Raiders are.
But I'm solely going based off of emotion. I'm not saying that if this was the Raiders last week, if this was the Raiders going into, the Broncos were coming to play the Raiders last week, I wouldn't have that score that high. But I think that they, it's kind of like that camaraderie of brotherhood type thing. I think they're going to come out and show out for their coach. Just like when we get into the Colts game, the Colts did for Saturday.
They did. So listen. So the Raiders actually have the best offensive game this year versus the Broncos. I will give you that. They've held
And that was
Seattle.
That was in Denver too.
No, that was in Vegas. They're in Denver this.
Right.
Yeah, they're in a mile high this week. So they held Seattle to 17, Houston to 9, San Fran to 10. Then the Raiders put up 32. They held the Colts to 12, the Chargers to 19, the Jets to 16, the Jaguars to 17, and the Titans to 17. That defense has put that fucking team, for expectation wise, that defense has put that team in a position to be, what is this? What would it be? 8-1. Those games, they've held every opponent with the exception of one under 20 points. They should be 8-1 with Russell Wilson, and oh my God, that shit pisses me off. But I do not think that the Raiders are gonna. I think that the Raiders, honestly, dude, I don't fucking know who's gonna win this game. It's like the Raiders. You make good points with them, and I'm done with fucking picking the Broncos. So I'm just gonna throw shit at the wall, and I just want to be different. I'm gonna say the Broncos win. They're in Denver. I think the defense does step up. I think it's an ugly fucking game. But who knows? Maybe we're about to get a 35-34 a classic all-time shootout.
Nah, 35 to 13.
All right, Tom.
13. I just want to go on record saying, don't ever in your life compare Josh McDaniels to Kyle Shanahan again.
I was waiting for you to go at it.
They're completely two different coaches. One's never even been a head coach before, and one's rode Tom Brady's coattail to success. The other has been in an NFC Championship game. He's on the verge of going to the NFC Championship game in Ryan's defense. But to piggyback off of what Ryan said, listen, at this point, I hope it's a fucking tie.
Mm-hmm.
That's how pissed off these teams get me. I mean, Russell Wilson leaves Seattle to go to Denver. Everybody thinks Denver's going to be the team. They're going to be this hotshot team. And Russell Wilson has completely shit the bed. He's like, he's at the verge of embarrassing himself right now for wanting to leave Seattle the way he did and going to Denver. On the other hand, what have the Raiders? The Raiders have only proved us. I'm never gonna take the Raiders again. After losing to the Colts like that, I'll never and making me look like an idiot. Like, I mean, I make myself look like an idiot all the time. I don't need the fucking Raiders to make me look like an idiot neither. So I mean, I can see Devontae Adams having a good game because it's Devontae Adams. The only way is Derrick Carr to throw him open, like you said. Pass Surtain's unreal. I'm assuming he's going to be the one covering Devontae Adams. I mean, I guess this game solely depends on what Josh Jacobs can do. And on the other hand, I mean, Melvin Gordon. I could be a running back for the Denver Broncos. It seems like right now.
You are faced.
They have they don't have a running back. So you're solely depending on Russell Wilson throwing the ball probably another 30 plus times tomorrow Sunday. So
he can't even say right on right anymore. He's totally done. He's gasparated.
And
Tom, you're right. I can't compare Josh McDaniels to Shanahan. You're right. Shanahan blew 2 Super Bowls. McDaniels never.
I was waiting. Listen. He's been there though. So is Josh McDaniels, but not as a head coach.
Okay.
So he's been there on the coattails, you like to say,
of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
What has Josh Daniels done without Brady?
Josh Daniels? I don't know who the fuck that is.
Josh McDaniels. What has he done without Brady? All I know is he turned down that. Did he turn down the Raiders? What job did he turn down?
I think it might have been
the coach job. I think it was the coach. No, I think it was the coach job.
He was literally ready to.
But he thought he was a job. That's why he thought that he was going to be the predecessor.
Yeah, he thought Bill was going out with Tom. That's why.
You like how all them dudes leave Belichick and then they all crawl back, and Belichick always takes they brought who'd they bring back the Lions, Matt Patricia, and now he's the offensive coordinator. Like, I don't know.
Defensive minded guy. Let's put him on the.
Tom, I don't want to.
Offensive side.
Yeah, that's like when the Eagles made their offensive line coach Juan Castillo, the defensive coordinator. Fucking
Yeah, great.
dickheads. Tom, I know you
seen
see
it.
that comment right there.
Hey, he won it with
And
Tim
this
Tebow.
is no. I was going with this one first because you are a freaking beaut. But he did win a playoff game with Timmy T in Denver. So cut him some slack. Nah.
Well,
All
anyway,
right, Tom.
piggybacking off of that, we're going to go with the Bengals versus the Steelers with another division clash game. Despite having what Ryan says, Kenny Pickett with his small hands, and the Steelers being 3-6, and what some people are saying are one of the most boring teams to watch. This is my opinion. This is a must-watch game. Division games, no matter what, can go either way. I love it. I'm riding the Bengals, baby. I think this game is going to be fun to watch. I think this is a game that it's going to be a must-watch game. As division games, obviously, we know can go either way. Watch them Monday night's game and then watch them week 2 when the Steelers actually beat the Bengals in overtime. The Bengals started the season 0-2 and are now 5-3, coming off of a much-needed bye week. They're heading. Are they?
Are they what?
One thing I didn't do is they're heading into Pittsburgh to play Steel City and the Steelers. Joe Burrow came off a Super Bowl loss and threw 4 interceptions week 4 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Bengals outscored the Steelers 14-3 in the second half to force overtime to only lose 23-20 in overtime. This is not the same type of game that's going to happen. This is a complete different Joe Burrow. This is a complete different Cincinnati Bengals. I don't care what anybody says. I'm rocking with the Bengals. The only Super Bowl the only hangover team is the LA Rams. Like I told Derrick on the first episode, the Bengals are going to make the playoffs. Derrick doesn't think they're going to make the playoffs. They started the season 0-2. They're now 5-3. They're 5-2 over the last 7 games. Who they? Yes. 3-1 over the last 4 games. Steelers offense has struggled to put points on the board. They've only scored 20 points in a game twice this season. That's it. 20 points 2 times this season. In 5 of the games, they only scored 14 or fewer points. The Bengals defense has allowed only 9 touchdowns and 1,800 passing yards, with their defense having 8 interceptions and 14 total sacks. Bengals have also only allowed 7 touchdowns and 1,100 yards on the ground. The Bengals defense should be enough to stop Najee Harris and Kenny Pickett and pull out a close win and improve to 6-3 on the season and get one game closer to that all-time Steelers Bengal record of 68 wins to 38 losses for the Steelers over the Bengals. That record's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Players to watch are Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, and for the Steelers, I think it's TJ Watt is a player to watch. I mean, coming back off that injury last week, he showed up it's like he never left the game. He was never hurt. Showed up and played this week. I think the final score is going to be 27-17 Bengals.
27-17 Cincy. D, what you got?
So, like Tom said, this division game can go anyway. I'd like to see the Bengals bounce back with this game, just to keep going. And if Tom stands correct, they make the playoffs, which I don't think they do, because they definitely have the Super Bowl hangover. Them and the Rams. I don't think either one makes the Super Bowl. I mean, makes the playoffs this year, even a wild card game. But I'm looking at Joe Burrow. Although he's not successful and isn't having a great year, he's still having a pretty decent year. I mean, he has over 2,000 passing yards, 18 TDs, and he's kind of separated himself from the younger quarterbacks, and in that area. I mean, obviously Justin Fields has it more with his legs, but he's a mobile quarterback. But I mean, he's kind of separated himself from the Trevor Lawrences of the world, the Justin Fields, the Zach Wilsons. He's kind of putting himself up in that different category. Now, if he can get some type of O-line, I think that the Bengals, they're probably one of the best teams in the AFC right now. And we thought that they revamped their O-line, But did they really? I feel like every time I'm watching on Red Zone, this guy is running for his life. So
it's like they revamped it just for the run game. It seems like.
Yeah, and I mean, and hey, by any means, win with the run game. Then don't try to put your quarterback in a situation where I understand this is you want to be an exciting team in this league. You want to pass the ball. That's what puts asses in seats. But if you're winning games with the run game, stick with the run game. Because again, that opens up the play action, opens up the RPO, opens up different types of things like that. And it just for a younger quarterback who already has the mechanics, he has the tools, he has all that stuff. They have decent receivers. All that's going to do is make him better and make the team better and actually win games. Because this division is a winnable division. It's always kind of it's kind of like a toss-up division.
I agree. That division is definitely always a battle. Real quick, just to circle back, he jumped on, and before I give my opinion on Bengals Steelers, I want to touch on this real quick. Our Raiders fan in the chat said, I said the Raiders need a new owner and a new coaching staff. Mark Davis has been a cancer ever since his dad died, and he got ownership of the team. He makes bad choices and has let good coaches go and keeps the bad ones. And this is a guy that I'm not trying to shit on you, bro. This is a man that had the Raiders winning 14 games coming into the season. I could feel it in his heart. He's disappointed in his team. And I agree, they should have never got rid of the dude that got the interim coach that took you guys to the playoffs. But to jump back to Bengals Steelers, I think that there's not really much else I can say that you guys didn't say. The Bengals do not really have a good offensive line. We can continue saying that, to where the Steelers this year, if you look at the stats, it might look like they don't have the best defensive line, but they have missed they've missed TJ Watt. TJ Watt's been out for a little while, and I know that's skewing the numbers, but that offense, the defense is going to do what they do. TJ Watt's going to go off. He's going to eat. And I think, again, when he plays at the level that he does, even just him being on the field, it elevates everyone, not just the defense. And when you look at the other side, Najee Harris, man, he got going last week. Tom, you said that he had to get going. We highlighted it. We talked about how he just really was kind of ineffective for them, right? He wasn't really doing too much. He was at like 3.7 or something yards per carry. Look, Cincinnati has a weak rush defense. Okay, they got a pretty decent pass rush. They got a pretty decent coverage. Like they're okay across the board. But where their concerns are is that rush defense. So I'm ready for again. Mike Tomlin is coming in hot. He's going to prove and show. Listen, that division's not up for that division is not over. It is up for grabs. And I think that you're going to see a good dose of Najee Harris here. Look for him to get over 5 yards a carry and then just to continue feeding him. I'm going to be going Najee Harris on all my daily fantasies because I think this is a game where it's Bengals off the field because they're not going to be able to block. And Mike Tomlin's just going to say, okay, our defense is going to be able to contain Cincinnati to 17 or 20 points. How do I get 21 points on the board? Okay, Najee Harris is good for getting me 3 solid drives, and Kenny Pickett, do what you did last week, bro. Don't do what you did prior to last week where you had 2 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Do what you did last week. I don't need you to throw a touchdown. Just don't throw a pick. Let the defense win it. Let that offensive line create some space for our guy, and let's go win this game. And I think that they will. I'm going to back them again. Tom, I'm backing the Steelers again. The Pittsburgh Steelers will defeat the Cincinnati Bengals. And my score, it's going to be an ugly one. Let's say this is like a 16-13 kind of AFC battle. That's where I'm going. 16-13. And then another pretty much ugly game that I was fortunate enough to pick to, break down here. We got the Saints and we got the Rams. Now, Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams, they are traveling to Nolans to take on the Saints led by Andy Dalton, soon to be led by Jameis Winston. Neither team is looking like they're going to make the playoffs this year, and the Rams look like maybe the biggest hit that they could take on the offense It looks like they just took the biggest hit they could take on the offense with news that Cooper Kupp will be sidelined with an ankle injury that's going to require surgery. And it's looking like he's going to miss multiple games. And they are going to have to fight for their playoff lives without him because this isn't a situation now where they can just hold on until Cooper gets back. It's no. If Cooper's out 4 or 5 weeks, you need to you maybe could squeeze one loss. You're 3-6. You need to win all these games. And I think that's honestly, if they're going to make a run, I think that's what this team needs right now. And it's crazy to say, all right, eliminate Cooper Kupp, and that's exactly what the Rams need. But the reason why I do think that it could work for them is because all you hear is Matt Stafford maybe, being too in love with Cooper Kupp. And sometimes it seems like Kupp is the only receiver that Stafford has eyes for. And now he's going to be forced to kind of get those other guys, involved in the game without Kupp being there. And they're sitting at the very bottom of the NFC West. So if they're able to, they got nothing to lose. They're rated below the Cardinals in the standings. He doesn't have Cooper Kupp. He now has to use Allen Robinson. He now has to use those other guys. He has to get the run game involved. The defense has to step up. And all that's going to do is if they're able to get those other guys involved and they can go on a little 3-1 stretch or a 4-0 stretch, if they could pull through this, then you come out the other side kind of looking like, all right, we were able to win these games without Cooper Kupp. Now let's find a way to get him back in the mix and win these games with him. They have, I said that I could see them maybe taking one loss and being okay with it. They got the Saints this week. That's winnable. They got the Chiefs next week. They're not winning that game. Then they got the Seahawks, Raiders, Packers, Broncos, Chargers, Seahawks. They got a lot of very winnable games for them down the stretch. And like I said, I really just think that this is the one where they're going to have to go out and win. And I know it's in New Orleans. That stadium is very loud. Trust me, I've been there. They love their Saints. And because of the past NFC championship games, the defensive pass interference, this still has and will always have the feel in New Orleans of a very important and exciting game. The Rams, again, they're relying on the defense. Stafford's going to have to find a way to maybe play with some new toys. And on the other side, Andy Dalton, I think he should be benched by halftime. This isn't a prediction. This is just my thoughts. And I think Famous Jameis should jump back in the driver's seat so that he can quarterback the team for the next few weeks before fans want him benched for Andy Dalton, and we could just continue to seesaw. But the quarterback carousel for New Orleans, it's going to continue. And as bad as the Rams have been this year, I don't see them losing this game. I'm expecting a tight game that sees LA pull out the late victory. I got Rams winning 20-19. For New Orleans, my player to watch is Alvin Kamara because who else is going to fucking get going for them offensively, right? And for the Rams, I'm looking at every wide receiver not named Cooper Kupp, and I want to see if Matt Stafford can find a new friend.
Let's go Rams.
Rams fan, Tone Perez.
I'm a fan of every team that plays the Saints this year, baby. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
The Saints lose games. But I agree with, you touched everything. I agree with you 100%. The only negative thing I'll say is it seems like Matthew Stafford has absolutely zero chemistry with every other receiver not named Cooper Kupp. We've seen too many times, countless times, where he force feeds Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp could be triple teamed and he's still throwing him the ball. It's like, I'm not saying, I don't know if he doesn't have any faith in Allen Robinson, Van Jefferson, the Skowinick kid, the little white kid. I don't know. But I just don't know how much Matthew Stafford is going to be able to do with guys like I just mentioned. I am looking to see. I do think Van Jefferson has a decent game, only because Allen Robinson is going to be seeing all the coverage now that Cooper Kupp was seeing, and we obviously know Allen Robinson ain't no Cooper Kupp. So, but I agree with you. I think it's going to be a low-scoring, disgusting game. Rams somehow pull it out. Any team that's playing against Andy Dalton has a team. I don't give a shit if it's the Houston Texans. They will have a chance to win the game when you got Andy Dalton at the helm. And like you said, Andy can't get Olave the ball. It's going to come down to Alvin Kamara. I do think it's going to be like a 19-17 type game. I think the Rams win on like a late field goal.
Okay.
I think that this is a new segment that we should open. Shit game of the week. I would definitely stamp this game as a shit game of the week. I'm just not interested in it at all. I mean, just the Rams being putrid and the Saints can't figure it out. If we want to call it the shit game, the toilet bowl, whatever, every week, let's just stamp one. This is the
All right,
toilet
this is the toilet bowl game of the week. Okay, I'm with it.
Like
Presenting the toilet bowl game of the week, New Orleans Saints versus the Los Angeles Rams. Go ahead, Dave.
But just like you said, the only thing that the Saints have going for them is they have an okay defense. Other than that, they haven't been really getting Kamara involved. Of course, they have a new playmate in Chris Olave, who's been, doing fairly well. But I feel like once they found him, it's kind of like screw Kamara, who has been taking you through season to season. So yeah. I honestly think that this is going to be this game. Again, Rye, I look for what can the Rams do without Cooper Kupp? That's what I'm looking for. Can their running backs get going? Can Cam Akers get going, or Henderson? Can either of those running backs get going? Can they get Alvin Kamara going? I feel like this is just going to be a defensive game, and it's going to come down to whose defense is better. I do see at some point maybe James getting in the game, Randy Dalton, if he's not doing well. Or maybe they're doing a carousel of quarterbacks. Maybe all three quarterbacks see the field this week. And, some funky-ass jumbo package or some type of package like that. But, unfortunately, I want the Saints to lose, but I think the Saints are going to win, just predicated off of a better run game and just a better defense. And I got it around 21-13.
Not bad. So I am not on board with the Saints winning. I don't think so. But hey, somebody's gonna be right. Somebody's gonna be wrong. D, what's our next game?
So I'm just gonna jump into the next game. It's probably gonna be all of our favorite games of the week. It is the Eagles versus the Colts. And the reason why I'm doing this game is just to get a little bit more time for us to kind of discuss it, because we got to discuss the Eagles. They just time of possession last week was just horrific. I think it was 38 to 19 or 6, some crazy number along that line. But the time
40 to 20. Yep.
Yeah, and I literally said on a podcast for other teams to win these games, they got to keep offenses like the Eagles, the Dolphins, the Chiefs, the Bills. You got to keep them off the field. And what other better way than time of possession? And they ran the ball down our throats. They were even running the ball on 3rd and 4s and converting first down. Their run game was just crazy. But you had the Eagles. What better a game plan adjustment than to pick up 2 brick walls on that line? I mean, even if they don't have their full potential gas that they used to have, there's still 2 big ass bodies that can clog that middle. Because we were getting butt raped in that middle. I'm not sure if I can say that, but we were getting right in the holes. We were getting it right in the holes. They were going down any gap, A gap, B gap, whatever gaps. They were going down every one. And I mean, it doesn't seem like this is a critical game, but it is to me at least, because you got a team who's riding off the high of Saturday winning on Sunday, and is that going to translate into this week? They have JT who got going last week. Can he get going again this week? Can our defense step up to stop the rushing attack? Because if we stop that rushing attack, I don't feel confident that Matt Ryan, he's just a shell of his old self. I don't think he can really get going to beat us in the air. Now, do I think they can beat us on the ground? If our defense played the way they did last week, they definitely will. And that was the one thing we were predicated on. I think we had the 3rd Russian defense, maybe even lower than that, going into last week. And we let Taylor Heineke and Brian Robinson just go off on us. So I think this week is a critical week. This is kind of like you're bleeding. Stop the bleeding right now before it becomes hemorrhaging. That's what this week is for. And I think the Eagles are coming to actually this week they'll run the ball. I think the time of possession will be much even, like more even. And I think that Jalen Hurts just because aside from everything, Jalen Hurts still had a pretty good game. He didn't throw for crazy yardage, but I think he had 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, something like that. So he's still balling. To me, he's still in that. He doesn't have as many yards, but I mean, he's our go-to guy. We go to him on a goal line. Like he's just that guy. Him to come back. I expect our run game to get going. I expect our defense to really step up. And I like Jeff Saturday and everything, but you ain't winning this Sunday. Saturday ain't winning on Sunday, and the Eagles are gonna win 28-20.
I would love that. Now the conversation based around Jalen Hurts, I think Jalen Hurts was robbed of a really good game. I think he was robbed, and I'm talking purely on the Quez mistake, the Dallas Goedert fumble, and the A.J. Brown drop that turned into an interception. Now I know that's a tough play. I'm not giving no fucking hate to A.J. Brown, but that was a dime that the defender misplayed, and it went through his hands, and it literally showed. There was a meme I seen where it's like, this is what I think it might have been Dak's picks. This is what Dak's picks looks like, and it's a defender catching it right here. And then it was like, this is what Jalen Hurts picks looks like, and it's A.J. Brown's hands looking like he made a catch, and the other defender's arms are all the way out the picture, and you're like, how the fuck does that turn into a pick? I think that the Eagles it was one of those games where it was just like everything went against them. And that was the game we had the year we won the Super Bowl. We had in week 2 against Kansas City. It was a close game. Nobody really thought we were going to beat Kansas City because Kansas City was just a juggernaut really at the time. That was Alex Smith. I think that was the year, either the year after or the year that they battled the Colts in that overtime shootout with Andrew Luck. Yeah. But the Chiefs were still a unit. And we played against them, and we had a lot of bad things go against us. And I'm not blaming anyone. I'm saying we created a lot of bad situations for ourselves as a team, and we did that again in this game. And I'm hoping the reaction to that game from that 2017 team was to go win. It was like 9 straight or some shit like that. Like the Eagles have a chance to. Their schedule is still. I mean, let's be real. Their schedule is still kind of cake. The 2 teams playing on Thursday night football right now, they're going to be our next 2. I'm pretty sure they're our next 2 opponents after we get through the Colts. They are. We got the Packers next Thursday night. And then we have the Titans on December 4th. So the Packers are reeling, and the Titans are we pretty much what I'm looking at is, and this is my last point on the Eagles, then we can move on, is the Eagles just came off of a little stretch in which Najee Harris, they shut down. They really didn't give him a chance to get going. They did a decent job, I guess you could say, against Pierce. Pierce was gashing them, and that was kind of the game where – no, they didn't do decent. They did shit. That was the game where it was really like, oh, shit, the Texans game. And I think it got overshadowed by the World Series, but that was the game where you look and you're like, okay, this team has a deficiency, and it's the run defense because these teams are just like this dude's eating. And then the Commanders do it. And now I don't feel like this is a move that's like, okay, we just got gashed 2 games in a row against the Texans and the Commanders. Let's make an address. It's no, we got gashed by Dameon Pierce and Brian Robinson. And if we don't address this now, we're staring in the face of, ready? We're staring in the face of Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, and this is all in order. Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields, the Dallas Cowboys with Pollard and Zeke, Alvin Kamara, and then Saquon Barkley again. So down the stretch, this team is playing some fucking good running backs, and they've made, just in the last couple of weeks alone, they've added Ndamukong Suh, they've added Linval Joseph both today and this week, and then they've added Robert Quinn. So they're trying everything to answer this, and this is where, Fletcher Cox hasn't been really what we're expecting of him. Jordan Davis is hurt, and all we've been doing all year is complimenting the linebackers, and we really do need to. Those linebackers, they got to show up. I got the Eagles winning this one. I think that they will bottle up JPT as much as you can, maybe less than 150 yards. Let's go Eagles. Let's go Eagles 31. Let's go Colts 26. Mike, my boy Mike in the comments, I appreciate it. Love the pod. Y'all keep it up. So proud. And he starts with the yellow Steelers heart. I like that. And he got the purple Lakers heart in there. Tom, Eagles, Colts.
Just before you start, Derrick. Tom, the only thing that discouraged me too, from this game is the deep ball for Jalen. Like, because he's just starting to come along with trusting his receivers, getting that deep ball going. And then you have A.J. Brown, who, again, it was a tough play, but it was a catchable ball. And then you have Quez Watkins, who catches the ball and just, doesn't secure the ball while getting up and fumbles. So now we got to think, in Jalen's mind, what is he kind of thinking in terms of that deep ball? Are we still going to trust our receivers to, get the long ball going, or kind of regress from that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree. I'm going to keep this short and brief because there's not much to say because you all already said everything. All I'm going to say is Nick better get his head out of his ass and run the fucking ball. Jalen Hurts was the only player to show up 100% in the game Monday night. Eagles win. And the Eagles know they have to win because now after this game, we're going to be playing an Aaron Jones and a Green Bay Packers team with 10 days rest.
Yep.
So they're going to be coming to the link for a Sunday night game off of 10 days rest, getting healthy, getting ready, and that's not going to be an easy game. So, I mean, the Birds got to make a statement this game after playing like that and losing against Washington. I want to see me and Derrick said we're going to see 4 quarters against Washington. We didn't even see fucking 1 quarter, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And this is a game that against a team like you keep saying with these bounce back games. I'm not saying that the Eagles have to bounce back from anything crazy, but they have to bounce back from that horrible game Monday night. And if any team that they're going to bounce back with the remaining of the season right now, it's this team right here against the Indianapolis Colts. And I'm with you guys. I do think it's a double-digit win. I think it's like a 30-20 game. With Jake Elliott actually making a couple field goals for Ryan's fantasy team, by the way.
Yeah, I'm playing another fucking Flynn. It's like I can't get away from these Flynns. I played Richie. I played you. I played Tim. It's like, what the hell? Get me away from these fucking Flynns. All right, Tom, what's our next game, bro?
Yeah, so this is the Panthers versus the Ravens. I'm going to keep this short. Again, I'm going to keep this brief. This is a fucking terrible game to watch. Listen, Ravens are coming off a much-needed bye week so they can get a couple guys healthy. Panthers are coming off a nice 10-day rest where they beat the Atlanta Falcons 25-15. Good call on that, Derrick, by the way. The key for the Panthers' success is to run the ball with Deonta Foreman. Just run the rock. Keep Lamar off the field, but unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen this game. The Panthers are going up against the NFL's third-ranked defense against the run, only allowing 92 rushing yards a game. With Mark Andrews back and how explosive Lamar is playing, they're going to be too much for P.J. Walker and the Panthers. It's going to be a long day for Carolina, and the Ravens are going to stay hot at home and win the game big. The Ravens are going to win this game 37-17. And there's only 2 players to watch out for, and that's Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson. Fuck, I don't know if there's nobody to watch on the Panthers.
I think that there absolutely is somebody to watch on the Panthers, but D, go ahead, bro.
So again, I just think this is a slop fest of a game. I think these are money games. These are nothing but money games for my man Lamar Jackson, who I've been vouching for from the beginning of the season. These are games that you beat up on teams like this so bad that the Ravens they're just putting their heads down because they're thinking, shit, we should have paid this guy in the beginning of the season. And now he may be playing, in my opinion, his future team. I think Lamar fits in, with a Panthers or, a team in NFC South, the the Saints, the Falcons. I think that he will fit in any of those teams. So it would be nice to see him just ball out on his team, just to get his checkbook each day higher and higher. And now he has Deshaun Jackson, who's probably not what he used to be, but he's still a weapon, and maybe he can get that passing game going. So I don't have much on this game. Even though I did pick the Panthers last week, but I got to stay away from them this week. They're on 4-way, and the Ravens are 2-2 at home. And this is a game where the Ravens can start to build that momentum and start to see their name change in the standings going forward. So I got the Ravens winning. I would say about 21-10. Or give me 23-10.
23-10. If you went 23-10, you would be spot on to rotoballer.com's recommended against the spread betting pick. Don't ask me why I know that, but it's minus 12.5. I do think that the Ravens are going to absolutely fucking smash the Panthers. I do think there's a player to watch for them, though, and that player is my guy, Deontay Foreman. Tom, don't fucking shake your head, bro.
He's getting bottled up.
He doesn't get bottled up. He is a monster, and he's going to keep fucking chugging this week, and he's going to help me beat a Flynn because I need to beat a Flynn in fantasy. But yeah, I got the Ravens. I'll say let's go. I think the Ravens have a big game. It's like one of those 38s. This is where Lamar goes and puts up 5 touchdowns, and Justin Tucker hits a 60-yard field goal. 38-17. I'll go 38-21. No, 24, somewhere around there. A fucking lot to a little is what I'm going to go. And then I'm going to go right into the Eagles' last 2 opponents because they fucking have both kind of hurt my heart in their own little way, one more than the other. But we got the Commanders and the Texans. And the one that hurt my heart a little bit more is the team that ended the win streak of the last remaining undefeated team in the league. The Commanders come into this game flying high after they declawed our beloved Birds on Monday Night Football to improve to their own to improve to a 5-5 record. I don't know what the hell I was reading there. Bringing them within a half game of the 7th seed currently held by the 49ers. Taylor Heineke has brought new life into the Washington locker room as he has led this team to a 3-1 record in the absence of original starter Carson Wentz. And he's going to keep the starting job even with Carson being cleared to return to action this week. And I think it's safe to say that as long as he don't massively fuck this up, it's his team for the rest of the season, and I think he deserves it. Not only does he deserve that, but he deserves a swift kick to the dick, and I'll tell you why. I'm gonna curse really good. This MFer, I'm gonna leave it at that and try to be a little. This motherfucker, man, that celebration that he had on the roughing the passer call in real time, bro. I thought this dude flopped. But then slowed down. I agree that even though it was a weak call, it was the right call to make on BG. And now I understand that the excitement in the result of that penalty, meaning that game's over. But to celebrate the way that fucking clown did, bro, you would think that this dude just threw an 80-yard touchdown pass to win a playoff game, right? This dude celebrated a game-winning penalty, a penalty. Not even a game-winning penalty he didn't even celebrate as much as Jordan Alvarez did when he hit that game-winning 3-run bomb against the Phillies in Game 6. Sorry to fucking stab us all in the heart again, but that's what this dude was celebrating like he just did. Yo, that short act of I'm a fucking beast, I'm the best in the world because I took a fucking penalty, right? It's almost as good of a fucking act as I seen from Tom trying to convince us that he did not take a provisional shot. And for that, I give you the Academy Award, my brother. That's all I got on this game. Both teams got a good rushing attack. At least they showed it against Philly. I think Texans got a little bit of a better rushing attack, but I don't think the Texans are going to win. My prediction is the Commanders are going to improve to 6-5, and they're actually going to jump into a playoff spot, which means one of those bottom 2 teams got to lose. Commanders, let's say Commanders 27, Texans 13. I think the Commanders are actually going to beat them. I think it's a late touchdown that kind of puts them up and puts it away, but 27-13 I'm going to go with.
So I agree with you 100%. Tyler Heineke's a clown for that. I mean, listen, I get that it ended the game and it won you the game, but to celebrate like that was just a little weird. Like he just threw the fucking game-winning touchdown to himself for 70 yards. He literally, like they just won a Super Bowl. He celebrated.
No, fuck him.
And to go with the Brandon Graham, like I agree. Like it was a soft call. It is the right call with the NFL how they try to protect these fucking quarterbacks like they're fucking newborn babies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my opinion, like something like that. Like you go out there play football, you're gonna get hit. Stop. These flags are just flying for these quarterbacks way too much. I think there was a chance where Brandon Graham could have. I mean, listen, a guy his size going that fast, trying to pull up, there is a chance he could hurt himself. But there are also chances where he could. I thought he had the opportunity to even jump over him,
Mm-hmm.
like to even dive over Tyler Heineke when he went down.
Yeah.
But like then again, like you said, for a quarterback like Tyler Heineke, but that was a great IQ play to even kneel the ball. Like I would bet that a lot of quarterbacks would fucking throw the ball away.
Yeah, I mean, there you think that they would probably slide to the ground, which is going to really eliminate that. But man, I didn't even want to get into that penalty. Dylan says he 100% could have pulled out. Dylan,
we're dads. We don't pull out.
I was just about to say. I was about to say, Dylan, you're on the wrong show telling somebody to pull out, bro.
So like I agree though, he could have pulled up, but there was a chance of him hurting himself. He didn't, and it's not like you could tell how much he slowed up. It's not like he leveled. Like if he was going full speed, Tyler Heineke would have been on a stretcher heading out of the fucking link, going to fucking Presbyterian Hospital, whatever one's down in South Philly.
Yeah,
literally, he would have been on Broad Street in an ambulance going to the hospital.
Hey, D, real quick, do you have anything on this game? And then I want to.
I do. I just have a couple things. Okay. Taylor Heineke is a dork, number one. The reason why I say this is they recreated the Kirk Cousins on the plane with all the chains.
Oh, yes. I seen that, bro.
Which was so whack. I mean, if you beat the Vikings, okay, you beat the team that was, basically had the best record. But still, you don't recreate that unless you beat the team that he beat you guys. That's why he did that. Or no, he beat the Bills. That's why he did that. So why are you like he had no affiliation with Philadelphia whatsoever. And then you're drinking Busch Lights on the fucking plane. Like, are you kidding me? if that's your swag, it is what it is. But remember what I told you in the beginning of the and I think it was like a couple weeks ago on a podcast. He gets paid $125,000 every time he plays the game.
Yeah.
So every time he's the actual quarterback, like he plays the snaps, he gets $125,000 bonus. And what's going to kill me this week is every time he beats a team, he gets custom sneakers made with those team colors. So to see the green, it's going to hurt me. And then he's going up against the Texans, so he's going to win again. I just, honestly, Heineke is, I guess he's their future. I'm kind of taken back, though, how they went with Carson instead of giving this kid a shot. I mean, he didn't play too bad last year. He was just, one of those game managing quarterbacks. But again, you gotta play the kid. And like I said before, on the new season ticket holders, on the video, he is on there. So is this a sign that he's the quarterback, going forward? If he wins a few games, is he the starter next year? But I do have the Commanders winning again. I can't even tell you the score because they both suck. But it would probably be like in the 20. Both teams have 20, but the Commanders will win.
All
Yo, real quick.
Go ahead.
Carson Wentz is the NFL's version of Ben Simmons.
I think you already mentioned that.
I'm going to mention it every single week. They're both fucking baby shit soft and can't.
So then you gotta say Carson Simmons then. Or
Carson's
or fucking
Carson
Ben Wentz,
Simmons.
baby. Benny Wentz.
So what I wanted to jump into, and it's going to segue. Derrick, you're up, bro. And we have the number one. Yo, did you see my boy on the field this week? My boy Pook.
I did.
My boy Pook was in the building. He was on the field. Now Pook, that's his comment he threw up there. That's our guy, man. We all used to work at T-Mobile together with Pook, and he was when I worked at Quaker Bridge, bro. I was going through some shit. I was going through a rough time in my life. I didn't have no money to get back and forth to work, and it was tough. And Pook, man, he talked me through a lot of shit. He helped me get set up in T-Mobile and showed me the ways. And on days where I didn't have money to eat, Pook, man, he's not a greedy person. He made sure that I have, and I didn't even know the dude. And Pook is not. Listen, Pook is not a little guy, and Pook is not a nice. Like, he don't come off as a nice guy. You see that motherfucker? That was my dog, and I was always kind of like, yo, Pook's kind of intimidating, bro. Like, I want to fuck with him. I love him, but that's my guy. But listen, no, Pook always took care of me, man. And I want to give him a big shout out. He's in here, and it's gonna segue right into his beloved Giants. D, what do you got on the Giants game?
Yeah, shout out to my OG Poop, but he ain't gonna like me this week because like I said before, I don't believe in trap games. I don't, but I think this is a trap game for the Giants. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you got two coaches, in my opinion, who are the same guy. You got Brian DeBoer and you got Dan Campbell, and they're culture guys. So they're the guys that get the team riled up. They grab them by the helmet. They do all that. And the Lions actually, if you look at how the Lions played in their first game of the season against the Eagles, you thought that they would have a better record than they have right now. But again, we have their quarterback who's been holding them back forever, who's been holding them back, Jared Goff. But then you look on the Giants side, and you got to think, when is Saquon going to slow down? Is this the week? Is next week the week? Because I understand the guy has tree trunks for legs, but at some point, he's got to slow down. And the Lions, I think this is a game that they could sneak by and beat the Giants because I don't believe in Danny Dimes. And I think that there is predicated on the type of defense that they have. But I just think this week, I think the Lions are going to beat the Giants.
So Pook said they got the better defense, and he's guaranteeing that they hold the Lions to under 20. Now, Detroit, we've talked about this. Detroit is a pretty explosive offense. There are issues on the defense. Is there a chance that they hold Detroit under 20, D?
There's no way that they hold Detroit over 20. I'm saying Amon Ra is going to have, or Amon Ra, however you want to say his name, he's going to have 2 touchdowns this week.
What about this one? What about this comment?
I mean, again, like I said, Barkley is a horse. I mean, I would put him and Derrick Henry in that like freak body type Russian attack guys.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Barkley has 200 yards this game, or he has 100 yards. Because in my opinion, they're kind of running him into the ground. I feel like they're doing what the Cowboys did to Zeke, just constantly run him, and then he just runs out of gas at the end of the season. And this is where injuries come in. And again, I would never pray for guys to get injured, but this is why Barkley has been so injury ridden, because they're rushing him 30 times a game. And listen, if he was on my team, I would do the same exact thing, because just like I said, I think rushing attacks wins games and time of possession wins.
Yeah. So I think that this game is so hard to call. I'll be honest, because as much as I don't trust, and I don't trust in Danny Dimes, I definitely don't fucking trust Jared Goff. When you look at the 2 running backs, I like DeAndre Swift, but he just don't get Detroit don't fully commit to him. And Saquon is. There's one thing I hate about Saquon. It's that he's on the Giants. Outside of that, bro, I love Saquon. Just like Josh is one of my favorite fucking quarterbacks. Saquon's one of my favorite running backs. I just hate that he's on the Giants. And I think that the Giants have a very tough task ahead of them. It's tough to call this game for real because the Giants do have the better defense, and Detroit.
Yeah, I mean their defense is like smoke and mirrors though. They're like probably only a couple spots away from each other.
Yeah, I could get some stats on that. Let me give my prediction. I'm gonna go ahead. It's Giants and Lions. Lions defense is way worse. I think the Giants win. I'll go 24-20. Or I think 24-23. Detroit has a way of always just keeping games close. But it scares me if I was picking score because if I was picking a score for like a bet, I think I would go a little bit higher because these Lions games always seem to just get a little out of control late and they put up a lot of points. But I'm gonna go ahead 24-23. New York Giants are going to jump to 8-2, and they're going to be tied for the second seed in the NFC because the Vikings are going to lose to the Cowboys. So I got some love for the Giants this week, Tom.
I'm going with Pook. I'm taking a better defense in this game. Like Rye said, I mean, the thing with Swift is he'll get you 60 yards on the ground, get inside the 10-yard line, and they're taking him out the game and giving it to Jamal Williams. Yep. Now, I get why they're doing that, but if I was Swift, I'd fucking hate that. Knowing that they drafted him, this is his team, but they're giving all the goal line and red zone touches to Jamal Williams. I get that he's the bigger guy, but Swift is a Swiftier guy.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Swift has a good game. I do think you said, I'm not sure. I do think Amon St. Brown has a good game. I don't know if he's scoring 2 touchdowns, but I mean, he's a good receiver. I think he's very underrated. A lot of people don't watch him. I only watch him mainly because he's on my fantasy team, on multiple of my fantasy teams. I do think the Giants do win like a 24-21 type game. Like I think the Giants win by a field goal. They pull it out.
Okay. All right.
It will be frigid this week too.
Yeah, Detroit's coming to New York, right?
Yep. So it will be freezing.
Dome. I get that. No, I get that.
So
there's a better team playing in Detroit this week.
I was about to say, how's that make you feel? It's like you leave your stadium to go play an away game, and now you got some other dudes sleeping in your locker room. Not sleeping there.
I wonder how tickets work for that. Like, are they actually charging top dollar in Detroit?
I think they're free.
Free. Last time they were free.
Were they?
Yeah.
I mean, no Buffalo Bills, no fans from the Buffalo Bills are gonna drive in that snow.
Nobody's gonna be able to.
They're knuckleheads. Who knows?
They might just line up fucking like 100,000 tables and just fucking smash their way over.
Yeah, or they'll all be on bobsleds.
Bobsleds.
All right. So so you guys said Dallas, Minnesota is a game of the week. Here's another game of the week, and that's the Chargers versus the Chiefs.
Flex, baby.
Chargers suck.
Chargers versus the Chiefs. Again, a division game. Anytime there's a division game, you always have a chance to win.
Not when the Chiefs are playing.
Coming into Week 11, this is arguably the biggest game of the year for the Chargers if they want any shot at winning the NFC West. The Chargers are 5-2 and 2 games back of the Kansas City Chiefs. With already losing to KC on Justin Herbert's late pick 6 in Week 2, coming into the season, a lot of people thought this would be the year the Chargers take over the division. But once again, injuries are holding this team back. They lost all-pro cornerback J.C. Jackson for this season and have lost their 2 top receivers who barely played all year. The Chargers are once again relying on running back Austin Eckler, who started the season with only 33 carries for 80 yards and no touchdowns through the first 3 weeks. Since then, Eckler leads all running backs with 10 touchdowns. He also leads the team with 67 catches for 420 yards when you have a player like Keenan Allen on your team that just can't stay healthy. The Chargers are optimistic they will get Allen and Williams back. In order for the Chargers to win this game, they're going to have to play honest football with equal doses of run and pass. Now, the key for the Chiefs to win this game is to run the ball more than 18 times like they did in the Week 2 matchup. Patrick Mahomes isn't going to be able to throw the ball 60 times. He's not.
He's balled out the last 2 weeks. I don't think the Chargers.
The Chargers allow 147 rushing yards per game, ranked 30th in the NFL. ranked 30th in the NFL, and in yards per attempt, ranked dead last. The Chiefs lead the NFL in scoring at 30 points per game. So if the Chargers want to win, they need to keep up. With that being said, the Chiefs do enough to pull out another close divisional game against the Chargers, winning 30-27. Chiefs win the game. Another close one, just like week 2. They're going to end the Chargers season.
Ooh.
I got the Chiefs winning 31-22. And I think Patty Mahomes continues to do what he does. I think if Kadarius Toney gets going a little bit more, he'll know more of the playbook. We'll be able to get. I think Kadarius is going to be, the jet sweep guy. I think he's going to be one of those guys. So I think he gets going this week, and I just think they ball out this week. I think the Chargers are just done, not making the playoffs. Done.
Listen, I hope the Chargers win this game. I just can't see it happening because of injuries now.
Yeah, they're injury ridden.
If Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, they're back at practice. If somehow Keenan Allen and Mike Williams do play this game, the Chargers have a very good shot at winning this game.
But they probably won't be 100%.
Even a 50% Keenan Allen's better than Josh Palmer.
Yo, what is with the Josh Palmer slander, bro?
He does see 9 targets a game though.
Bro, what is it that you don't like about this dude?
Ever since that fucking ball hit his hands, and it was a fucking interception for Justin Herbert. I hate him.
Bro, 9 catches.
That lost me a fantasy game.
Oh, so this is fantasy. Okay. So I think that you are wrapped up in a fantasy because you said that if the Chargers lose, or you said that the Chiefs are going to end the Chargers season. Are you saying that? And Pook, thank you, Joshua Palmer is decent. You think that if they lose this game, their season's over?
I don't think they're going to make a wild card. I don't think so. So I think the only way they make the playoffs is win the division. You have you're talking about the AFC East, who have all 3 wild card teams wrapped up. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go.
But they're only one win away and 1 loss away for an AFC East.
Their season ends this week.
Bro, there's still 7 games left.
Dog, the Jets are the Jets. I know that they're a nice fucking story right now, but the Jets are the Jets. And the Patriots, we just talked about their fucking quarterbacks, in which you agreed that you don't like either of them. So
yeah, but the Jets head coach said he's taking names right, so watch your mouth.
Fuck who? Robert Saleh? That dude is all ripped, right? Nick Sirianni was about to beat shit down his leg in that game. He was scared of South Philly Nick. Fuck out of here.
The Chargers can't stay healthy, and even with Keenan Allen back, they're not going to be able to stay healthy enough to win more games than they need.
So they're currently got the same record as the 7 seed with the Patriots. So even if they were to drop this game, they would fall a game, at worst, a game back. Now, the teams below them are the Broncos and the Raiders. They're not going to catch them. The next 2 teams that could challenge them or the Patriots is going to be the Bengals at 5-4 and the Colts at 4-5. So even at 5-5, they're sitting comfortably in the 8 or 9 slot, only 1 game behind the 7 slot. And you can't. I don't think you could fucking put them out. Now this is your squad. I'll let you do. Leave the Jets out of this. I'll let you do whatever you want with your team, bro. But to count them out at 5-5, like. You're quitting on your Chargers like that, Tom? That's crazy. I don't know. All right, so I have the Chiefs. I'm not going Chargers. All that being said, I'm not going Chargers. All right, so last week our power rankings were pretty telling. And I just want to jump right into it this week. Last week, we'll all start at number 10, and we'll all go, and then we'll finish out through 1. Last week, I had the New York Jets at number 10. This week, they didn't do anything wrong to me. Sorry, Dylan, but they fall out of the top 10. And I'm actually sliding the 49ers into that 10th spot. And the reason why I'm sliding that 49ers in is because I said if they were to win another game that they would be in my top 5. And unfortunately, I can't bounce the Ravens, and I can't bounce the Giants. So Jets got to go. Who do you D? Who do you got at number? Who did you have number 10 last week, and who do you got now? Who?
Last week I had the Seattle Seahawks at number 10.
Mm-hmm.
This week I have the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay, we're in agreement. All right. Tom, last week you had the Chargers at number 10. Who do you got at number 10 now?
And the Chargers are out of my top 10.
Ooh.
I'm putting the Dallas Cowboys at number 10.
Whoa. Okay, I like it. Tell me why.
Just blowing that 14-point lead against one of the most struggling offenses in football. I just think there's more teams that just found a formula that are going to be able to put up points, and they're going to be able to beat the Cowboys, just like Minnesota this week.
Okay.
And Minnesota beats the Cowboys, they'll be lucky to stay in my top 10.
Ooh, I'm not too far from there. Number 9, last week I had the Baltimore Ravens. This week I have the Tennessee Titans at number 9. They have actually climbed into my top 10. They're sitting at 6-3. They're tied for second place. Of course, there's probably tiebreakers that bump them down. But record-wise, they're sitting at second best in the AFC. And I think that, with Tannehill back, they deserve a crack at the top 10. D, last week you had the Giants at number 9. Who do you have this week?
Giants. This week I have the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, we called each other before this, huh? Tom, who do you got?
I had to give love to new teams that actually deserved it.
I like that, and I'm on board with that. Tom, last week you had the Jets at number 9.
And
who's
the
on
Jets
number
are
9?
Staying at number 9. They stay undefeated on the bye week.
All right, number 8 last week. I rolled with the New York Giants. And I'm going to keep the NFC East in number 8, and I'm dropping the Dallas Cowboys from number 6 all the way down to number 8. And that is because they fucking stink. Nah, that's because the Giants won. Baltimore was on a bye. They didn't. Dallas lost in terrible fashion. So they got to be penalized. And for that, I drop them to number 8. D, last week at number 8, you had the Ravens. Who do you got at number 8 this week?
Number 8 this week, I have the New York Football Jets.
Oh.
And the only reason why I'm putting them there, because if they beat the Pats this week, they're staying there. So I'm trying to get ahead of the curve.
I like that, Tom. Last week, I wanted to smack some cheese on the top of your head. And that was for putting the Dolphins at number 8. Who do you got at number 8 this week?
Well, this team finally jumped in to my top 10, and sitting at number 8 is the New York Giants.
Ooh. Tell me why. What do you like about the Giants to put them in your top 10?
Saquon's back. Saquon's healthy. Saquon's balling. The defense is balling. Daniel Jones, like you said, I think Daniel Jones is a game manager quarterback. He's not going to outduel you in the air, but I can tell you one thing is he can outduel you on the feet unless you're playing against guys like Lamar. But Saquon Barkley is the formula to that offense, and the defense is just playing great football. They're playing stout, and they're a decent football team.
I agree. Brad is in the comments. He said, the Giants above the 49ers? LOL. The Niner would be favored by at least 5 in New York. Okay, so, Brad, I am very high on the 49ers. I have them in the NFC Championship since about 2 weeks ago is when I jumped on board. But the reality of the whole situation here is the New York Football Giants are 7-2, and your 49ers are 5-4. And one of those losses was an 11-10 ugly slop fest to who did they lose to? They lost to what the fuck was the Broncos? They lost 11-10 to the Broncos. They lost 19-10 to the Bears, right? They beat the Seahawks. They beat the Rams. They beat the Panthers. They lost to the Falcons. They lost to the Chiefs. They beat the Rams.
They beat bums.
That 11-10 game against the Broncos, is that with Trey Lance?
Might have been.
Yeah,
week 3. Well, regardless, it's their team, and Trey
No,
Lance was
I'm with you. I agree. I'm just saying. I think it would have been a different. Who the fuck knows? Jimmy G ain't nothing special, but
Now, this is where I would love my boy Job here instead of Brad because he gives me more shit about. I hear more shit from him about the schedule. And when you look at the Niners schedule, bro, it's the teams that they lost to, they got some ugly fucking losses. And the teams that they beat, the most impressive win was against the Chargers. And I feel like they almost fucking threw that. They put themselves in a position to throw that game away with those late decisions. But regardless, they are a 5-4 team. They are trending in the right direction. I am very high on them, but I am just taking it as I cannot take a 5-4 team and stick them above a 7-2 team in my power rankings, and you can't make me do it. Number 7. Last week I had the Seattle Seahawks, and the Seattle Seahawks are fucking gone. They are out of my top 10, and I don't see them. As much nice things as I had to say about the Seattle Seahawks, they are gone out of my top 10 power rankings, and I don't see them returning. I will slide the Baltimore Ravens from number 9 up to number 7. I think Baltimore is a sleeper in the AFC. I don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl because they don't have the weapons around them. But I do think Baltimore's a pick. Hey, Brad, real quick before I jump over to these guys, number 7 picks. Your loss to the Falcons. We had 9 out of 11 starting defenders out. When Carson Wentz, and I will always go back to this because he's a part of your fan base. The shit I had to listen to about Carson Wentz when he was throwing to Greg Ward and fucking Richard Rodgers from your boy. Yeah, I don't give a damn about your fucking starters. I don't give a fuck. You lost the games that were put in front of you. There's a reason why they have the 4th highest odds in Vegas to win the Super Bowl. Again, future odds, I'm with you. That's a good bet, right? But right now, they need to prove it still. It's not about what looks good on paper. It's about what you do on the field. And you guys are trending in the right direction. And you are 1 win away from me putting you up a couple more spots. But until then, you got to be patient. Number 7 last week, Derrick, you had the New York Football Jets, who you moved back this week. Who do you got at number 7 this week?
The New York Football Giants.
Oh.
And
Okay,
the reason why is just I won't put them in the top 5 even if they have better records than some other teams until they win like a real game.
Okay. I like that. Tom, you had the Ravens at number 7 last week. Who do you got there now?
the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, they stay still.
Yep.
No movement. You did say that. And I guess that's because of the bye week.
Yeah, I didn't move. I'm not gonna move. I'm not move the Jets or the Ravens.
All right. So number 6 last week, I was showing love and respect to those Dallas Cowboys, but they have dropped down to 8, and they have swapped. The Giants go from 8 to 6. So this week I have the Giants at number 6 again. The record speaks for itself. Like I can't justify putting Philly at the top spot, which I have them at, with their schedule, and then turn around and say, well, the Giants haven't played anybody. So the Giants are 7-2. They're a potential landing spot for Odell. Barkley is doing his fucking thing, and the defense the defense can be a little bit better, but they've been solid. I think that the Giants are still a team that I'm very unsure of. If I had to bet my house, I'm not probably going to bet it on the Giants. But for now, they're number 6 in my power rankings. D, last week you had the Dolphins at 6. Who do you got there now?
I have the Baltimore Ravens.
Nice. Okay. Ravens getting a little bit of love moving up for you. Tom, you had the 49ers ranked 6th last week.
Ooh. Over the Dolphins?
Over the Dolphins.
Two things I want to say is out of what Brad Davis said about missing 9 of the 11 starters against the Falcons. They, in fact, were only missing 5 starting defensive players instead of 9. So I don't know where he's getting his stats. Arik Armstead, Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw, Emmanuel Mosley, Jimmy Ward, Emmanuel Mosley, Javon Kinlaw, Nick Bosa, and Arik Armstead are the 5 players that did not play in week 6 against the Atlanta Falcons. But with that being said, I'm going to keep the 49ers.
Ooh.
I don't care if they
49ers.
lost 6 during the game. You said that they were missing 9 of their 11 starters. They in fact were only missing 5 of their 11 starters. Injuries happen every day, B.
Dallas Goedert got hurt, B. On a face mask that wasn't called, B. All right. Hold up. I wanna
This is the NFL, bro. The next man up.
That's what all right, so last week, now we're cracking the top 5, and this is where it gets fun. This is where it gets interesting. Last week I had the Chiefs at number 5. Here it is, Tom. Comments. Last week I had the Chiefs at number 5. This week the Chiefs are going up, and the Buffalo Bills are going to drop to number 5 for me. Again, we talked a lot about why Josh Allen has kind of come back to earth, and the Bills are just not looking like the juggernaut that they kind of looked like before. D, last week you had the Cowboys at 5, and we've already seen you move them to number 10. So who do you got at number 5?
I think I dropped them out. They're not even in my top 10 anymore. The Cowboys.
Oh, Tom had okay. I was mixing up the top 10s.
So I have the Bills. And I think that this is a critical game for the Bills. If the Bills lose this game, they're dropping out of my top 10. Ooh. It might be the biggest drop of all time.
Yeah, I'm putting them towards the bottom. I don't know if they're out, but I'm definitely putting them towards the bottom. That's an aggressive move, but that would be, 3 straight losses? They would be last in the AFC East if the Patriots are able to beat the Jets. Tom, you had the same thing. You had the Cowboys last week, and seeing that you dropped them down, who do you got at number 5 this week?
The Buffalo Bills.
All right, so we all got Buffalo at number 5 across the board. I think it's a good spot for them. Number 4 last week, I had the Buffalo Bills, and I just did a swap. I moved the Bills down. I moved the Chiefs up. I got the Chiefs at number 4. I think the Chiefs are now. I think the Chiefs, they got the best record in the AFC, and I kind of teetered on the thought of, even though Miami had another impressive showing, maybe swapping them, but Miami is still getting the benefit from me that they have not lost with Tua at the helm. And as soon as they lose with Tua, I will move if they lose, I will move the Chiefs ahead of them. But until they get a loss with that starting quarterback, I got to keep them. I got to keep the Chiefs at number 4, keep them at bay a little bit. Number 4 last week, Derrick, you had the Minnesota Vikings. You both had the Minnesota Vikings. So, D, you go first, and then Tom, who do you guys got at number 4?
I got the Finns at number 4.
You showing some respect. Okay.
And I'm just predicating it based off what you said. They have not lost with Tua.
I like it. Tom.
I got the lefty sensation at number 4. The Miami Dolphins.
The top 5s are starting off the same. We all got Bills at 5. We all got Dolphins at 4. Last week, I had now my top 3 is kind of similar. Dolphins at 3. Last week, I got the Dolphins sitting at 3 still. Derrick, last week you had the Bills at 3, which you just dropped to number 5. Who do you got at number 3?
The team that beat the Bills, Minnesota Vikings.
Okay. Tom, who do you got at 3?
I got the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, he's on board. Why do you got the Chiefs at 3 after having the Vikings at? You had the Vikings at 4 last week.
Listen, watching Minnesota come off beating Dallas, and then watching them, or they're going in to beat Dallas. I meant watching them beat Buffalo, and then coming off the win before Buffalo.
Washington.
Yeah, so watching them struggle against Washington and then pulling out the win, and then going into Buffalo and literally a fucking dogfight, and just watching Justin Jefferson play, watching him do his thing, watching the Vikings defense come up clutch, watching Patrick Peterson completely read the defense. They're, like I said, they're going to the NFC Championship game to play. They're coming to the link to face the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game.
You've been on that train since it fucking left the station. Brad said, I understand the concern. You know, a healthy Niners team comes out the NFC. It can come out the NFC, and I'm on board with that. Last week, again stays the same. I had number 2 Minnesota. They're going to stay at number 2 with what they did. D, you had the Chiefs at number 2 last week, and Tom had the Bills at number 2 last week. Who do you guys got there?
The Chiefs still stay at number 2.
Okay.
The Eagles stay at 1. Depending on how bad the Chiefs beat up the Chargers, it might be 1-2. 1-2 with the Eagles.
I like it. Tom.
Minnesota
Give me your
Vikings at number 2.
Nice. He's all on board. And so that leaves us all with the Philadelphia Eagles at number 1, which we kind of knew going in. And I want to cut to this real quick, and I don't want to cut ours short, but it's not often that we get our listeners to put in their top 10, and I'm going to throw Brad's up there. He got number 1 as the Chiefs. I'm okay with people that want to put the Chiefs ahead of the Eagles. If you do that, listen, the Chiefs are a powerhouse. I won't argue. Where my problem is, the Buffalo Bills are 6-3. The other team's 8-1, and the Buffalo Bills just lost to the team that the Eagles made look like fools. The Eagles at number 3, I do still respect you having us in the top 3, but the 49ers at 4, my team's 8-1, so for me to have them in the top 5 is justified. Your team is 5-4. You just look like a homer. Future, I'll take that, but right now, no. And to have the fucking Buffalo Bills over the Minnesota Vikings, the team that just went into their crib and beat their asses. You got the Vikings at 5 and you got the Bills at 2, and you just reminded me why I never talked football with you. Dr. Seuss, fuck with me. Fuck with me, Dr. Seuss. What the hell? He got the Dolphins at 6, Ravens at 7, Giants at 8, Jets at 9, and he got the Bengals at 10. The Bengals who look like
Shit.
I guess there's a reason why Bills blew the game. All right, so no matter what you say, Bills changed the blue to loss, because whether they blew it, they gave it, they did whatever, it was an L. So the Bills lost the game at home, another overtime game that Josh Allen can't get it done. And I hate slandering Josh Allen because I love the guy, but I will not sit here and not even as a Minnesota fan. I'm not a Minnesota fan. I fucking can't stand them. I think their fans are soft, but I want them to get the respect that I feel like they deserve. And you're not giving it to them, you POS. I still love you though. So with that, that's our rankings. We don't agree with Brad's rankings, and I'm not sure that many people will. Brad's just one of those guys. I love Brad though. All right, so jumping out of that, and before we get into everyone's favorite thing, which you could catch right below Derrick's beautiful face. Boom. The Tom Flynn Lock of the Week is going to come up after this, but all week we've been talking about the NFC versus the AFC East. NFC East versus the AFC East. And the reason why we talk about it is because they are the 2 hottest teams in football right now. The NFC East is a combined 26-11, while the AFC East is a combined 24-13, right? The NFC East has 2 teams with a better record than the top AFC East seed. The Giants are 7-2, the Eagles are 8-1, and Miami is 7-3. The NFC East is statistically the best defensive division in football, and the AFC East is second. But the AFC East is number 1 in points scored, so them motherfuckers can score over there. The NFC East is 21-6 against non-NFC East teams, to where the AFC East are 19-8. So I'm fucking up. The Bills, Eagles. The NFC East gets the advantage there, meaning that outside the division, they're winning more games. And then the current playoff spots represented by the AFC, they're 4-4. So that advantage is going to go to them. But the NFC East is 3-4, and Washington is now on a bubble, currently sitting alone in the 8th seed, trailing the number 4 ranked overall greatest Brad Davis ever, fucking San Francisco 49ers, by a half a game. So, Brad, when you think about how good your team is right now, just remember that the Commanders, the Washington Foreskins, are just a half game from your playoff spot. What do you guys got on the NFC East, AFC East? Which division do you think is better?
I I would say the NFC East as of right now, just because again, you put AFC teams in front of them, they beat them. You put NFC teams in front of them, you beat them. They beat each other, and they're already the best division in the NFL right now. So I would have to stick with them, and just because again, our any team in our division can beat basically any team in any division right now.
Yeah.
So I would put them ahead of the AFC East this year.
Tom, what you got?
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to put the NFC East ahead, and that's solely because, again, I'm a guy that loves the trenches. I'm a guy that loves running the rock, and I'm taking the NFC East running backs all day, every day, 365 days a year, 366 on leap year over the AFC East. I mean, you're looking at Saquon Barkley is arguably better than every running back in the AFC East himself, just himself. And that's not accounting for Tony Pollard, Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, Miles Sanders. Right there alone, I think the NFC East is the better division when it comes to winning games. If they're head to head when it comes to winning games, the NFC East could just run the rock all day.
I heard you.
All day.
All
fucking day.
All gay, Tom.
Oh, baby.
Dylan's gay.
All right. So we're all in agreement, in which I kind of thought, and I do try to give unbiased opinions, as I know you two do, but the NFC East has just got the advantage in the records. And again, we don't give a fuck about schedules. Okay. You play the schedule that's ahead of you. And the only teams that's beating us in the NFC East are ourselves. Like, you know what? I'm gonna keep that one to myself. We are beating ourselves. All right. Our everyone's favorite segment of our show, and I'm gonna fucking put it up and take it off a couple times. The Tom Flynn lock of the week. He wouldn't tell us anything. He's kept it hidden from us, but now he's ready to fill your pockets. Tom, give us the Tom Flynn lock of the week.
So I'm gonna ride with the hot defense led by a rookie cornerback, heading into another cold area, heading into a division game that's going to go in. They're going to upset the New England Patriots. They're going to win outright. This is a statement game for the Jets to tell that they're legit in this division. I think Mac Jones ain't going to know what to do. I think Sauce is going to get an interception this week. I'm taking the Jets of New York plus 3.5, but I'm taking them outright also.
Ooh, sprinkle on money line money.
Money line sprinkles.
The dogs are howling. The dogs are
lock of the week.
That is aggressive. That is mighty aggressive. D, what do you think about the Tom Flynn lock of the week?
I love it. I'm on board with you, Tom. It looks like some people aren't. They already know the jinx is in, the fix is in. Once you go with a team, they usually lose. Even though last week you lined a lot of people's pockets with money. And I think you're going to do the same this week, brother, because the Jets are going to win outright, baby. We don't even need the points. We don't need the points.
So I know you lined some pockets last week, and my boy Tom is back on Venmo. If he lined your pockets, hit him up. Nah, we don't want no money, but if you lined your pockets, throw us a like, a follow, and subscribe, because that boy is getting you paid. Speaking of beating yourself, over to you, Tom. That was a good one.
Hey, Tom, so what's your record on lock of the week? 1-1?
1-1.
Tom, look at the comment coming in from Dylan Whipper.
Yes. Oh, get fucked, Tom. Don't.
Jets are gonna get blown out now.
Bill, you're gonna thank me come 4:30 Sunday afternoon when it's like fucking midnight your time.
Well, no, 7:30. Everybody tune in 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday night.
Yes, nice plug, Derrick. Oh, and next week's show is not going to be on Thursday. We will get you a schedule, but just a heads up, it's not going to be on Thursday, so you guys don't have to watch our beautiful, ugly, fucking fat faces while you're stuffing your fat face. We'll get you on Friday or Wednesday. D, Do you have any fantasy advice for us this week?
Again, like I said, Amon-Ra, I'm taking it. If Derrick Carr is out there in the league and your quarterback is, not doing too well, or I'm telling you, pick him up. This is going to be a big game. David Carr is staying home, and Derrick Carr, with a real Derrick Carr, please stand up. He's going to ball out. Devontae Adams, look for him to have a big game. And a little sleeper, if you need a flex player, plug in Mac Hollins.
Oh, Mac.
So Devontae Adams and Mac Hollins?
Yeah, the Mac is back. The Mac is back.
Hopefully whoever had Christian Watson started him again today.
And also, just I look for A.J. Brown to have a bounce back game, as well as Sanders. And that's all I really got.
All right, so I'm going to go. Now, last week, my parlay of the week, it missed by one leg. I had Tampa money line. I had Detroit in the points, and then I think I had Denver, and I think Denver fucked me. So this week, and I'm not going obvious picks. I'm trying to give us a nice little, maybe like a $280 plus odds to go win some money. I'm going to take the Bears +3. I'm going to take the Steelers +3.5. So that's Chicago +3 against. I had it written down on my notes, and I don't have it in front of me. I'm drawing a blank. Chicago is playing the Falcons. I got Chicago +3 against the Falcons. I got the Eagles -6.5 against the Colts. And I got the Steelers with the points against the Bengals. Our game picks are going to be, I think I have them written down. That was by who did what game. So we will keep track. We will release them. And this has been a hell of a show. This is what we want. The comments. I mean, the comments that we got on here, man, we haven't had this type of activity. We've kept the viewers the whole time. And you guys fucking killed it on our last video. Our last video, I was having editing issues, and it didn't come out until Tuesday morning. So we missed Sunday night, we missed Monday, and some of Tuesday morning opportunity for you guys to run it up, right? And that was our highest performing episode, and it's because of you guys, and we thank you. And we're just having fun doing this, and this shit, this interaction, get us while we're live. Talk to us, ask us the questions, and let us answer right here. We appreciate everybody. Boys, do you got anything you want to sign out with?
I just thank everybody. Like, subscribe, share, run the numbers up. Keep tuning in.
Absolutely. T Grizzly.
Follow off of Derrick, like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, even TikTok. Get it going. We're gonna have some nice giveaways soon. And just remember, the New York Jets.
Tom Flynn, lock of the week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. 7:30 on Sunday. Catch us. We are out. And as always, we will mumble into the mics until the broadcast ends. Peace out.